Chapter 950. Fong Ping was still thinking when his expression changed slightly. A familiar aura. The humans were rushing here. Didn't I tell them not to rush? It's dangerous to come here now. Fong Ping felt helpless. At that moment, Wu Chuan and the others also sensed the Divine Court Army's aura. Rumble. Energy exploded. The Divine Court Army suddenly appeared from the changing scene. The young man in golden armor attacked immediately. Kong Lingyuan roared and covered the sky with his folding fan. The others attacked too. Old Man Li slashed with his sword, breaking the void. The young man in golden armor ignored him. Tai Chin, who was behind him, attacked Old Man Li. One wielded a sword, the other wielded a spear. They collided in the blink of an eye. Crack! Old Man Li slashed with his sword, cutting the opponent's spear in half. In the blink of an eye, the spear returned to its original shape. Tai Chin took a few steps back, his face expressionless but solemn. Let's go. The young man in golden armor did not say anything else. His attack did not break Kong Lingyuan's folding fan. Without another word, the group of people appeared and disappeared as the scene changed. Kong Lingyuan and the others looked solemn. The short contact showed that the other party was very strong. If not for the catacombs people in the distance, they would have been in danger if they stayed. Where did they go? They must have gone to kill the powerhouses from the other forces. These guys appear and disappear mysteriously. Once we split up, we'll be taken down one by one. Everyone discussed, somewhat worried. At that moment, Chi Huanyu's voice came again. Everyone, the only way is to kill these people first. As long as the Divine Court Army doesn't die, they control the battlefield and can come and go as they please. It's extremely dangerous. If we're not careful, we'll die. At that moment, Ling Xiao and the others had also returned. Wu Chuan glanced. He did not see Fong Ping. He frowned slightly, but did not say anything. What was Fong Ping hiding for? There were so many powerhouses. Was he planning to kill them secretly? What was Fong Ping doing now? When Wu Chuan and the others arrived, Fong Ping did not meet up with them. Instead, he slowly approached Chi Huanyu and the others. As he approached, he thought about something. After a while, Fong Ping's gaze flickered. He suddenly spoke to Old Man Li, who was thousands of meters away. Attack the catacombs. Break through their mental barrier and teleport some of them away, creating a momentary chaos. Old Man Li's eyebrows twitched. This kid was going to go crazy again. Asking him to attack the catacombs? Right now, there were still 400 to 500 people in the catacombs. If a fight really broke out, they would be in big trouble. However, Old Man Li quickly made up his mind. At this moment, the two sides were only a few thousand meters apart. Old Man Li suddenly looked in the direction of the catacombs and shouted, "You're actually here! You killed MCMAU instructors and students. You deserve to die!" Old Man Li burst through the air with this roar, traveling 1,000 meters in an instant. In the blink of an eye, he approached the catacombs side. Without a word, his sword Chi soared into the sky, and with a swing of his sword, he slashed open a huge spatial rift. Chi Huanyu had yet to recover from his severe injuries. Seeing this, he roared angrily, unable to contain his anger. The longevity sword dared to charge into the enemy's camp alone. He was still talking about cooperation, but this guy actually came alone. Kill him. With a furious roar, dozens of powerhouses from the catacombs side-attacked one after another. A loud explosion rang out. Kacha! Both sides exchanged blows. The mentality barrier around them shattered, and the terrain shifted rapidly. The rank 9 powerhouses were still fine, but a few rank 8 martial artists seemed to be unable to stay still. They exclaimed and were teleported away in the blink of an eye. In the dark, Fang Ping had been watching. When he saw this scene, his eyes flickered. The armor on his body changed instantly, and his appearance changed rapidly too. Then, Fang Ping changed into a completely different person. Ah! Fang Ping suddenly appeared, as if he had not woken up from the teleportation process. As the scenery changed and teleported, he landed in the catacombs side in the blink of an eye. His eyes were still blank and palpitating. When the few people around him saw him, someone could not help but say, "What good luck!" Baijan, be careful. Someone let out a low growl, reminding him. Baijan's luck was not bad. After teleporting out, he was actually teleported back randomly. The few other rank 8s who had disappeared were most likely doomed. In front, Old Man Li charged into the enemy's formation alone. He was the opponent. In the blink of an eye, he was sent flying by these powerhouses' joint attack. On the other side, Wu Chuan and the rest rushed over quickly. Qi Huanyu said furiously, "Li Changsheng, you're asking for it." The atmosphere on both sides was extremely tense. Jiang Kuei and the rest looked at Old Man Li, slightly dissatisfied. The Divine Palace military had just left. If they were to clash with the catacombs, now, once the Divine Palace military attacked, they would be in danger. Wu Chuan also said in a low voice, "Changsheng, don't be impatient." Old Man Li humphed. "I'll kill every single one of these bastards I see. I just saw a guy who killed MCMEU people before." Qi Huanyu saw that the rest were still calm. He regained his composure and said coldly, "Li Changsheng, do you think that I dare not kill you?" Old Man Li sneered. "Come, let's see who can kill who." Having said that, he provoked, "You're injured. Looks like you don't have the guts to fight to the death with me." "Enough!" Jiang Kuei shouted coldly, interrupting, "I don't care about your grudges now. Now that the Divine Palace military has reappeared, the Divine Palace military is our primary target. On this point, Outland and the Blessed Grotto Heaven are the same." On the other side, Gu Qing also said quickly, "That's right. The Divine Palace military is our primary enemy. This time, we came here to seize the treasure. You can do whatever you want after we get the treasure. If you want to fight now, we won't interfere. But you have to think this through. If there are too many casualties, we might all die at the hands of the Divine Palace military." As soon as he said that, Xianhua and the rest looked at Wu Chuan and the rest, frowning slightly. It was not the right time to turn against the catacombs. Wu Chuan exhaled softly, glanced at Old Man Li, and said in a low voice, "Then we'll wait." "Where's Fang Ping?" Qi Huanyu asked suddenly, frowning. "Where did Fang Ping go?" Fang Ping was not here. As he said that, he looked around and snorted. Was that guy still hiding in the dark? However, this was also the guy's advantage. If he hid, it would be difficult for them to find him. Hiding in the dark. Weren't you very arrogant outside the Heavenly King battleground? Qi Huanyu, you don't care if I hide or not. I'll keep an eye on you in the dark and make you afraid. An illusory voice came from all directions. Qi Huanyu, be careful. The Destiny Royal Court is not my target. You and the Destiny King just had to jump around. When I get the chance, I'll definitely kill you. Fang Ping's mentality shielded him. Although the others heard the voice, they could not sense its source. At this moment, Gu Qing's expression changed, slightly. He looked in a direction abruptly. The next moment, Qi Huanyu smacked his palm, and the void exploded. On the other side, an invisible psychic energy exploded. Fang Ping's voice disappeared too. "This is interesting." Gu Qing murmured softly. He could vaguely sense that there was something there. His mentality was strong, so he could sense the abnormality in the space. In fact, it proved that there was indeed a remnant of Fang Ping's mentality there. However, even though Qi Huanyu had blown it up, They did not sense any aura or a shielding. It was very difficult to discover a powerhouse like this hiding in the dark. Gu Qing and the rest became more vigilant. This included Jiang Kuei and the rest. They might have asked around before, but when they saw this scene with their own eyes, their eyes darted around. No one knew what they were thinking. Perhaps it was a good thing that Fang Ping was hiding in the dark. It was a deterrent. Qi Huanyu sneered and said indifferently, "Up to you. However, will you kill the heavenly court soldiers first? Or will you fight us first? Fang Ping, what's your choice?" Among the crowd, Fang Ping transformed into someone else's appearance and did not speak again. These guys were a little scary. If he spoke any further, he might be discovered. As for the guy who was teleported away, what would happen if he came back? Fang Ping did not plan to hide forever, so he did not care. The reason why he had snuck into the catacombs was to give everyone a surprise at a crucial moment. He felt like he had missed something, but after thinking for a long time, he still couldn't figure out what he had forgotten. He felt a little uneasy. While the two sides were negotiating, the Divine Court army moved stealthily again and soon appeared on the overseas Immortal Islands side. Just like before, they struck like lightning and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Luo Yu, who had rushed back, did not say much when he saw the situation. He quickly led his men to the 9th grade region. It was too dangerous to stay here any longer. Outside the King battlefield, on another stone tablet, a name flickered and caught Daoist Fengyun's attention. Daoist Fengyun took a look and frowned slightly. Flickering names. What does that mean? This was a rank 8 powerhouse, not considered strong among those who entered. Just now, the name had fluctuated, and even he did not understand why. Dead. He shouldn't be dead. But it seemed a little unstable. Unstable aura? Seriously injured? Daoist Fengyun could only think so. This had never happened before, but it might happen if someone was seriously injured and their aura was weak. Of course, it was slightly different from before. In the past, the names were dimmer, but not this time. A rank 8 martial artist. Daoist Fengyun pondered for a while and did not think further. Inside the King battlefield, the 4 forces began to converge on the 9th grade region. At this moment, Qi Huanyu seemed to have sensed something. He said in a low voice, "Everyone, the Divine Court army seems to be purposely driving us here. There haven't been many corpse puppets. Could it be?" At this time, Gu Qing had also arrived to meet the people from Grandmaster. The 3 forces did not gather together. Instead, they were thousands of meters away from each other. Gu Qing said loudly, "I've sensed it too. I know the commander of the Divine Court army. His name is Di Hao. He was a true god powerhouse in the past. In the war that year, he led a 1,000-man Divine Court army to fight against the powerhouses of Boundless Mountain. I thought he had died in that battle. I didn't expect him to still be alive. When he fought with Hall, Master Qi earlier, I vaguely sensed that it wasn't to kill, but to show off his strength and force us to join forces. Gather." As soon as he said that, discussions broke out again. At this time, Ling Xiao said lazily, "Stop guessing. I've sensed something. There seem to be corpse puppets moving around in the periphery. I can smell that stench from afar. Di Hao probably wants to gather us together and kill us all at once." Fang Ping also reacted when he heard that. Yes, he also sensed something. Before Gu Qing and the others attacked, the combat strength that Di Hao displayed was not too strong. However, since the other party had a trump card, logically speaking, he should have killed Qi Huanyu earlier. Only when Qi Huanyu's reinforcements arrived, including Gu Qing and the others, did that fellow go all out. It was indeed abnormal. Fang Ping continued to maintain his silence after the fact. At this moment, The others around him were not in the mood to pay attention to him. Some of them were deeply worried. It had not been smooth since they arrived. Many people had already died. Now that the other party had purposely driven them here, did they really have the confidence to kill them? At this time, on Gu Qing's side, the silver-haired old lady said slowly, "When the four sides gather, there are thousands of origin realms. Although the divine court army is strong, there are only 100 of them. Even with the corpse puppets, they don't have the confidence to defeat us, do they?" Having said that, she added, "The divine court army can completely take them down one by one." Chi Huanyu said indifferently, "Take them down one by one? We're not dead. If one side is really destroyed, the others will either retreat or join forces. We won't give them such an opportunity so easily. If we really destroy two sides, the remaining people will probably leave. The divine court army is very determined. As expected, they're doing this because they want to kill us all at once and not leave a single one alive." "How arrogant!" Someone snorted coldly. "How could it be that easy to kill thousands of origin realms at once?" However, Chi Huanyu said calmly, "Since they've already done it, they must be confident. Everyone, there's no time to lose. Let's strike first and kill a batch of corpse puppets in case they really gather and surround us." No one objected to killing the corpse puppets. Chi Huanyu said, "Let's end the battle quickly and not split up too far. Kill a batch and wait for Luo Yu's side to arrive. Then we'll meet up and fight the divine court army." All right. The other experts had no objections. As the strongest person below the true monarchs and the overall commander of the Destiny Royal Court's war, Chi Huanyu could handle such a situation. The others were not the type to drag things out. They quickly spread out and began killing the corpse puppets. They were weakening the divine court army's strength. The divine court army did not appear either. It seemed like they were killing the people who were left alone. This also confirmed Chi Huanyu's words. The other party was prepared to kill all of them in one fell swoop. They allowed them to gather in the 9th grade region. Not only did they not stop them, but they also seemed to be adding fuel to the fire. While everyone was killing the corpse puppets, in the 7th grade region, the golden-armored young man, Di Hao, produced a mirror in his hand again. He fell into deep thought as he looked at the densely packed red dots that had gathered together. Apart from the 9th grade region, there were very few red dots in the other regions. There were only a few scattered red dots. The young man stood proudly in the air and said slowly, "Spread out and kill these people with the corpse puppets." "Yes, sir," someone responded and moved quickly. Di Hao thought for a moment and suddenly pressed his hand down. "Ignore this person." He was looking at a single dazzling red dot. When he spoke, "Zhao Xingwu." "General, this person is also a variable. Why don't you let me lead some people to kill him? There's no hurry." Di Hao's voice was calm as he pointed at the 9th grade region's red dot. "Once these people are dead, there's no need to worry about one person. When that time comes, we can slowly surround and kill this person." "Yes, sir." Di Hao did not say anything else. He looked at the 9th grade region. The king was going to come out of seclusion, and he would sacrifice 1,000 origins. When the divine court army appeared again, blood would flow like a river. Every time the divine court army went out to battle, blood would flow like a river, and corpses would pile up like a mountain. There had never been an exception. Di Hao stood where he was, motionless. About 7 to 8 minutes later, some blood-colored soldiers returned, covered in blood. How could some lone experts be a match for them? As long as they encountered them, they would be quickly killed. When the last group of people returned, the young man looked at the compass mirror again. The scattered red dots were almost gone. That was because there was a red dot that was still jumping around at an incredible speed. It wasn't that he was fast, but rather that he wasn't resisting the pulling force of this place. He seemed to be wandering around, and it was very difficult to catch such an expert roaming around. Just as the young man was about to put away the mirror, he suddenly raised an eyebrow. A few more red dots appeared near the entrance of the 8th grade region. Someone else has entered. Dihao looked at the dots and said in a low voice, "Go, seal the other 3 entrances. Leave only the entrance to the core region." For regions, for entrances, he only left the entrance to the 9th grade region. As for the other places, he was going to seal them. The Divine Court Army had its own ways to seal them. "General, those people," Dihao glanced at the red dots and saw that they were also moving toward the core region. He said indifferently, "Ignore them. They're just a few golden body realms. Let's not waste time. Go to the core region." "Yes, sir." Everyone responded. A few golden-armored powerhouses quickly flew toward the other entrances. Dihao, on the other hand, waved his spear and disappeared with nearly 100 powerhouses. At the entrance to the 8th grade region, Li Hansong grinned. "These catacombs' true kings are very bold. They let us in just like that. I thought they would make things difficult for us." Wang Jinyang was silent. "Idiot! Why would they stop a few rank 8s when they came in to die? Even if a rank 9 came in now, they would not stop them, much less a rank 8. The Inata true king was very bold. Did they not see how those people looked at them, as if they were dead, when they came in? The rank 8 and rank 9 powerhouses inside were dying one after another. The casualties were increasing. Who would care about them? However, soon, Wang Jinyang said in a low voice, "When we came in just now, it seemed like someone was probing us." Minister Zhang's soft humph seemed to have shattered some people's mentality. "Did someone recognize us?" Li Hansong grinned. "So what if they recognized us? What are you afraid of?" "Idiot!" Yao Qingjun could not help but curse. He growled, "We have divine weapons. Once we're recognized, we'll be in big trouble." Li Hansong was speechless. "It can't be that bad, right? According to Fong Ping, we were very low-key back then. Not many people knew us. Back then in the void, Mausoleum Grotto Heaven, it was not that they recognized us, but they sensed our northern sect's physical strength. Just like old Yao, if he went to Quokang Mountain, Fong Ping said he should be able to enter too. When we went to Schwanda Grotto Heaven last time, the mystic virtue realm old man might not have recognized us. He probably sensed that our physique and mentality were biased." Yao Qingjun said helplessly, "We're low-key, but you're not. You're wearing a broken armor, showing off all the time. There are many powerhouses who know that you have a divine armor. Don't tell me no one will think of the Emperor armor." Li Hansong was embarrassed. "Is it my fault now? I have no choice but to use the Emperor armor. The enemy is too strong. What if I don't use it? How many times have I saved you? Now you're complaining." Li Hansong swore. "Next time you're killed, don't ask me to use the Emperor armor to protect you." Wang Jinyang ignored him. After walking for a while, he frowned. "It's too quiet. There seems to be no one in the rank 8 region. They should have gone to the rank 9 region, right?" Li Hansong looked around and said uncomfortably, "I'm dazzled. How did this godforsaken place become like this now? Are Fong Ping and the rest all right? You should worry about us." As Wang Jinyang spoke, a thunderous sound rang behind them. It was not too far away from them. At the same time, everyone seemed to hear an angry bellow vaguely. "How dare you!" The voice flashed and disappeared in the blink of an eye. "Life King?" Li Hansong said in surprise. "It's the Life King, right? It came from the outside. This old man is very powerful. At this time, Yao Qingjun suddenly grabbed him and quickly left through the air. They had just left when a golden-armored powerhouse rushed over. This person had just closed the rank 8 regions gateway and sensed a little aura here. He guessed that it was probably the few people Hao saw earlier. Initially, he wanted to kill the other party. He did not expect the other party to be so perceptive and run away first. He did not have the compass mirror with him. It was difficult to find them in this chaotic scene. "You guys are lucky," the golden-armored man murmured. "I'll let you live a little longer then." After saying that, the golden-armored powerhouse disappeared again. He left for a while. In the distance, Li Hansong cursed. Why did he run? He's just one person. He's lucky. If it wasn't for old Yao holding me back, I would have killed him directly. I think his armor is not bad. It's a little similar to my Emperor armor. I can even disguise it if I take it. Next time, I'll show it in front of powerhouses. These guys won't suspect that I have Emperor armor anymore. Li Hansong was very arrogant. Even though he sensed the other party's aura, which was probably above origin level 7 or 8, he did not pay much attention. Wang Jinyang glanced at him. He could not help but growl. Of all the things you can learn, you have to learn Fang Ping's arrogance. The 3 of us might be able to take him down if we work together, but we'll definitely be heavily injured and unable to fight again. Did you come here just to kill a rank 9? This was also very arrogant. Li Hansong said gloomily. Then why did we come here? Isn't it to kill people? Killing one is one. What else can we do? Wang Jinyang was mentally exhausted. After a while, he humphed softly, "Idiot! I'm telling you, don't scold people. It's not a good habit to scold people. You've been led astray by Fang Ping." Li Hansong said unhappily, "Am I wrong?" Wang Jinyang wanted to kick him to death. After thinking about it, this guy's skin was rough and thick. He might not be able to kill him. His feet might even hurt. Forget it. We didn't come here to kill a rank 9, Wang Jinyang said in a low voice. The reason why we rushed here is not to show our strength, but to make Fang Ping stronger, to prevent accidents from happening, and he can't handle it. Li Hansong scratched his head. "I say, is that thing useful? We spent half a day making this. I don't think it's very useful. Its aura isn't strong either. Can it really improve our strength?" "It can," Wang Jinyang said with certainty. "You only know how to say it can. Tell me, where's the evidence?" Wang Jinyang shut up. He could not be bothered. "Say it. If you don't finish, I'll be very anxious. I've been anxious for a few days. I don't have the energy to work these few days." Wang Jinyang continued to be silent. Yao Qingjun could not take it anymore. He sighed. "Read more books. You're going down the path of a reckless man now. Didn't all the grandmasters send a batch of ancient books? That thing is called the Heavenly God Fruit. It's specially used to improve mentality. Forget it. What heavenly God fruit?" Li Hansong pursed his lips. "Which fruit grows on a corpse's head? It's probably the overflowing mentality of a powerhouse's brain core. Fang Ping doesn't know either. If he knew, he wouldn't be able to eat it. Why are you asking if you know?" Wang Jinyang could not take it anymore. He kicked his foot out. The kick hurt his toes. He scolded in a low voice. "Don't tell me you found it on a corpse. It's the heavenly God fruit. You understand?" Li Hansong did not care about the place where he was kicked. He grinned. "Understood. Don't worry. It doesn't matter if it grows on a corpse. It's fine as long as it's useful. I'm more curious. How did you know there are ruins there?" Wang Jinyang continued to be silent. This again. "Old Wang, you've changed recently. You used to say everything. Now, you're all secretive. Why are you doing this?" Wang Jinyang said in a low voice. "Stop asking. It's useless even if you ask." Although he said that, He hesitated for a while before saying in a low voice, "Don't absorb things from your past life. It's very troublesome." It might make your past life return to you. Wang Jinyang took a deep breath and said slowly, "If you want to live as yourself, then try not to do this kind of thing. Of course, when it's really desperate, don't care. Do whatever you want." As soon as he said that, both of them seemed to understand something. Li Hansong's expression changed slightly. He said in a muffled voice, "Is it because of the heart?" "A little. Has your memory recovered?" "No, just a little." Wang Jinyang said in a low voice as he hurried along, "Very little, but this is a bad sign. I'm not telling you because I don't want you to worry. Don't always ask these useless questions. It's very annoying. If I'm in danger, I will naturally tell you. Not telling you means that I can still control it." Li Hansong frowned and said after a while, "Are we still going to the heavenly realm ruins? Moreover, we don't have the ability to do so now. I don't think it's a big deal to have one more memory." Li Hansong muttered, "I think that even if I have one more memory, I'm still Li Hansong. Aren't you worrying too much? Idiot." Wang Jinyang's temper was a little bad as he scolded, "Who knows how many years of memories you have? How long have you lived? Once there's an impact, your current memory might just be a drop in the ocean, not worth mentioning. When that time comes, will you really be an iron head? That's true. Your temper is a lot worse now. Logically speaking, Jean Tiendi's personality is still all right. Is there a problem with you being so bad?" "How do you know that Jean Tiendi's personality is good?" Wang Jinyang said impatiently. "Maybe he's faking it? That's true." Li Hansong nodded again and smiled. "It's fine. I think my personality is definitely good, be it my previous life or this life. Even if I recover my memory, I'm still me. When the time comes, I'll be stronger and help you guys get rid of those opponents." Wang Jinyang could not be bothered with him. This guy had been blindly confident recently. He could not figure out where this guy's confidence came from. He had not recovered his memory yet, and just because he might be the reincarnation of the extreme Tao Heavenly Emperor, he became arrogant. P.S. Today's 5,010 words, breaking 5 million. Big shots, vote for it. Chapter 9:51. "Baijian, what are you doing?" A loud shout drew Fang Ping's attention away from his surroundings. Hearing the scolding, Fang Ping lowered his head as if he was afraid, not daring to make a sound. Useless! The old man beside him scolded him. He would not have brought this useless fellow in if he had known. He was a venerable powerhouse after all, yet he was so scared that he had not woken up yet. Although he was almost teleported away, did he not return? Fang Ping continued to lower his head in silence, cursing in his heart. "I don't even know you. What do you want me to say?" Moreover, he did not even know what Baijian's voice sounded like. Of course, he dared not speak carelessly. Soon, however, Fang Ping had an idea. It seemed like he had to find a chance to kill this old man. He was a little familiar with this old man. Moreover, this old man was a rank 9, the core of the team. He might even be able to fight alongside Qi Huanyu. When that time came, he would stay by Qi Huanyu's side. Perhaps he could take the opportunity to kill him. Although everyone's opponent was the Divine Court Army, now humans and the catacombs would go to war sooner or later. It was just a matter of time. Fang Ping thought to himself. He did not show it on his face, continuing to act cowardly, although it caused some people's anger. Rank 8 martial artists were indeed not conspicuous at this time. It did not matter if they did not make a move. The strangulation continued. There were indeed many corpse puppets around. In just a short while, powerhouses from all sides had killed dozens of corpse puppets. Almost 1,000 rank 9 martial artists attacked. The results were also very obvious. At this time, a soft shout came from the central area. Gather quickly. Qi Huanyu began to gather powerhouses from all sides. Fang Ping also faintly felt a group of people's auras moving toward him. Luo Yu and the overseas Immortal Island Fellows were about to arrive. Let's go back. On Fang Ping's side, a team quickly killed a rank 9 corpse puppet and rushed toward the central area. After a while, everyone arrived at the place. At this moment, in the center, a few top-notch powerhouses were suspended in the air. Qi Huanyu, Wu Quishan, Gu Qing, Luo Yu, Ling Xiao, these were human powerhouses. There were also a few demons, including those from Thousand Demon Royal Court Guardians, and Forbidden Oceanic Demons. This time, there were demons from Imperial Sea Mountain, but Fang Ping did not see Devil Swordsman. He did not know if it was because he killed the others last time. Fang Ping, did not care about this. He did not kill the demon swordsman last time, but he had no intention of protecting it either. The demon swordsman had ruined many people's plans, so it was not surprising that he was killed. However, after some thought, Devil Swordsman seemed to still be on the 3 realms ranking list. He should not be dead. Thinking of this, Fang Ping stared at the powerhouses in the sky. It was the same for the others. At this moment, only these people had the right to speak. In the center of the square, Qi Huanyu looked around and said coldly, "The Divine Court Army has lured us here. I'm afraid they'll make a move soon. What I'm curious about now is, how confident are they that they can take us down? 1100 rank, 9 powerhouses, and close to 400 rank, 8 powerhouses, more than 1,500. Even if some of them died here and there were still more than 1,000 rank 9 martial artists." When he said that, Yu Wuhua of Immortal Seeking Island said softly, "I'm afraid there's more than 1 Divine Court Army. If there are 500 Divine Court Army soldiers and hundreds of corpse puppets, we will be in great danger." Qi Huanyu shook his head and said, "I don't think so. We've explored this place for more than 100 years. We've even entered the deepest part of the Imperial Palace before. Of course, we didn't go deep. Even so, I'm guessing this Divine Court Army is the limit. If there are really 500 Divine Court Army soldiers, the Second Kings would have sent them to kill us a long time ago." Wu Quishan said slowly, "I have a question." As he said that, he looked at the crowd and said lightly, "The Second Kings, have you not planted any spies all these years? I'm worried that the Second King's men are among the catacombs this time. If they work together, we'll be at a great disadvantage." When he said that, everyone looked at Qi Huanyu. This was not an impossible matter. Qi Huanyu frowned and said after a while, "Although I know you're targeting the Divine Land, I have to say that it's possible. However, before we confirm it, it's not advisable to do any interrogations. Otherwise, everyone will panic. If the hearts of thousands of powerhouses are in chaos, it will be even more troublesome. We can only take precautions. Moreover, I don't believe that the Second Kings would dare to plant spies in the 4 majestic courts. It's possible that there are more than 10 people coming this time, or at least none. More than 10 people was already overestimating the Second Kings." Qi Huanyu explained, "The Land of Kings isn't a place that anyone can enter. They're all descendants of the true kings and direct descendants of the true kings. Moreover, people from the Land of Rebirth have also entered." Wu Quishan said lightly, "Our people can't even come into contact with the core area. The catacombs have been guarding the rank 9 territory all this time. Our people are only active in the periphery of the rank 9 territory. I'm sure Hall Master Qi is well aware of this." Gu Qing chuckled when he saw the 2 of them arguing. "Calm down, both of you. It's possible that the Second Kings have planted spies in both sides. We need to pay attention to this. However, we just need to be more vigilant. There are thousands of them. Even if dozens of them riot, they won't be able to interfere. The most important thing now is to deal with the Divine Court army. We haven't even entered the space battlefield yet, but we've already lost close to 100 people. If this goes on, we might suffer heavy casualties before we even enter. Will we be able to deal with the crisis in the space battlefield? Then, everyone was deep in thought. Although most of the casualties were the catacombs' powerhouses, they had to deal with the God Court army, since all sides wanted to kill them. Gu Qing continued. Since all of you are here, I'm afraid you want to join forces. On the God Court army's side, Di Hao is the strongest. There are also 5 golden armored commanders, 10 emperor-level corpse puppets. These 16 powerhouses all have top-notch origin ability. These are the people we need to deal with first. Why don't we distribute these people while the others join forces to kill the other corpse puppets and God Court army powerhouses? Wu Quishan glanced at everyone and said slowly, our side will stop 2 emperor-level corpse puppets and 1 golden armored powerhouse. Everyone frowned slightly. Gu Qing smiled and said, Minister Wu, the human world has joined forces with Mount Wangu, Mount Weiyu, and Mount Taibai. I can say that most of the sex forces are gathered here. Seeing that Wu Quishan was about to speak, Gu Qing smiled warmly again and said, I won't make things difficult for you, Minister Wu. 3 emperor corpses and 1 golden armored powerhouse. How about that? Wu Quishan pondered for a moment and nodded slowly. We will also take on 3 emperor corpses and 1 golden armored powerhouse. Luo Yu, the overseas immortal islands have many powerhouses. You'll deal with the remaining 4 emperor corpses and 1 golden armored powerhouse. Gu Qing looked at Qi Huanyu and said with a chuckle, the 4 majestic courts are the strongest. Hall Master Qi, you've fought Di Hao before, so I'll leave Di Hao and the remaining 2 golden armored commanders to you. Although the catacombs had the fewest powerhouses to deal with, only 3, they were the strongest. The golden armored commanders were more difficult to deal with than the emperor corpses. Although the emperor corpses and puppets were not weak, they lacked the means to adapt and were not as dangerous as the golden armored commanders. Qi Huanyu nodded slightly and said nothing. With that, the powerhouses were distributed. Gu Qing continued, we can't let the God Court army meet up with the golden armored powerhouses. Once they do, they'll be able to unleash true God-level combat strength. If we split them up, the God Court army's combat strength will be greatly reduced. That's why we have to deal with these powerhouses alone. Luo Yu said calmly, Di Hao isn't stupid. He's lived since the earthly sovereign era. How could he not know that they'll die if we split them up? Gu Qing smiled and said, that will depend on everyone's strength. Everyone was silent. Gu Qing smiled again. Don't worry, everyone. I know the God Court army's combat habits. Their first choice is to charge and break through enemy lines as generals. They'll only use joint attacks if they're really no match for them. Although joint attacks are powerful, they're not without drawbacks. I think Hall Master Qi is also promoting this method in the Heaven's Mandate Army. You should know the drawbacks. Wu Quishan's eyes flickered when he heard that. Ling Xiao did not wait for them to speak. She said with a smile, it's not a secret. Joint attacks need to be of the same origin to fuse their powers. They forcefully change their auras, but they're not of the same origin. Over time, their origin Daos will become chaotic and collide. Therefore, although they'll grow stronger after fusing, they'll soon collapse if they don't get rid of it for a long time. Back then, a group of true gods noticed this and stopped fighting the God Court army. They had to maintain their true god combat strength to drag them down. In the end, more than 10,000 God Court army soldiers were dragged down. Ling Xiao giggled. That's why the powerful God Court army finally collapsed. Otherwise, with 1 million god court army soldiers and those true gods and emperors, the realm beyond heavens, and the overseas immortal islands might not be able to break them. Wu Quishan understood. Qi Huanyu did not say anything more. Everyone knew about this, and it was hard to hide it. Qi Huanyu looked into the distance and said in a deep voice, "They're coming! If Zhao Xingwu was here, we'd have a better chance this time." However, this person disappeared without a trace as soon as he entered. I don't know what he's up to. He looked at Wu Quishan. Wu Quishan was silent as if he did not see it. He did not know what Zhao Xingwu was doing. There were also Heaven Plant's royal court powerhouses here. The Heaven Plant's royal court was not without powerhouses. There were 9 halls, and apart from the True King Hall, there were 8 halls. Li Zhu was the hall master, and the other 7 hall masters were on the excellence list. These people were powerhouses too. However, the Heaven Plant's royal court currently lacked top-notch rank, 9 powerhouses. There was no one in the top 10 of the excellence list. Although Zhao Xingwu was the left commander of the Heaven Plant's army, he did things alone, and no one could order him around. The few hall masters of the Heaven Plant's royal court were here too, but they did not speak at this time. Rustling sounds were heard slowly. At this time, everyone's expression was solemn. Qi Huanyu and the rest shouted, "Prepare for battle." The powerhouses in all directions were on high alert. Watch your step. Seal the void. Watch out for the enemy's bloody spear. Don't leave the battle circle in case you get teleported away. The powerhouses gave their orders one after another. One by one, orders were passed down. The rustling sounds continued. It sounded like the sound of earth breaking. At this moment, someone exclaimed, "Look!" Without him saying it, everyone had already seen it. In the distance, corpses seemed to have just crawled out of the soil. Some of their golden bodies were already rotting, some were like living people, and some monsters were only left with their skeletons. Is it the undead nation? In the crowd, Fang Ping suddenly heaved a sigh of relief. Thank goodness! When he saw these corpses, he felt relieved instead. Before this, he was still wondering where these corpses had gone. Now it seemed like they had been hidden all along. There were a lot of corpses. There were probably thousands of them, but most of them were very broken. Obviously, the 2 kings did not have the energy to modify these rank 8 and 9 powerhouses' corpses. They mainly modified those true gods and emperor-level powerhouses' corpses. Is this the 2 kings' trump card? Fang Ping also saw some true god-level corpse puppets. There were quite a lot of them, at least 100 or so. However, those rank 8 and 9 who had died did not have rank 8 or 9 combat strength now. After all, the dead were not alive. What Fang Ping was more curious about was how these corpses could distinguish between friend and foe. Auras. They remembered the divine court army's aura. Is there someone controlling them? If there is, I can change my aura to that of the person controlling them. Can I control them? In my opinion, that Di Hao might be the person controlling them. Is his mentality higher than mine now? If it was not, Fang Ping could change his aura to Di Hao's. If he really controlled them through aura and made these corpses obey his orders, then Fang Ping was secretly delighted. I'll observe carefully later. This is a trump card. If it really works, even if these corpses can't be used by me, they won't become the other party's helper. Maybe I can still do something big at the crucial moment. Kacha kacha. The sound of glass shattering was heard again. It was a little ear-piercing. In the distance, someone said mildly, "Is everyone here?" Although they were very far away, the voice sounded like it was right next to their ears. Di Hao's figure appeared slowly, not just one place, in all directions. A mere 100 or so people, but now they were scattered in all directions. You've got guts. Knowing that I'm going to surround and kill you, you still dare to gather here. How confident! Dehao's figure had already appeared, walking in the air, saying slowly, "The Divine Court Army has not appeared for a long time. I'm afraid you've already forgotten the Divine Court Army's power. That's good too. Although there are no true gods after killing you, thousands of origin blood is enough to clear the Divine Court Army's name. Kill." A roar came from both sides at the same time. When both sides met, although Dehao said a few words in reality, it ended very quickly. In the blink of an eye, the battle broke out. A large number of corpse dummies charged at them. However, Dehao, the golden-armored soldiers, and the blood-armored soldiers did not attack. In the distance, Dehao looked around, looked at the compass mirror in his hand again, and roared, "Seal the skies!" Seal. Hundreds of blood-armored soldiers roared one after another. Hundreds of blood-colored spears rose into the air. The buzzing sound was incessant. Then a shocking scene happened. Hundreds of spears kept growing and extending, forming something like a bamboo cage in the air in the blink of an eye. The spears bent, the spearheads converged, the roots piercing the ground and spreading. At the front of the crowd, Gu Qing, who was already fighting a corpse dummy, saw this and shouted coldly, "How dare you! Using the Seal the Heavens formation, you won't stop until you kill everyone. You won't leave the formation until you kill everyone." The Seal the Heavens formation. This was the Divine Court Army's specialty. The blood-colored spears combined and sealed off the area, just like how it trapped Qi Huanyu earlier. This formation could not be broken unless the blood-armored soldiers were killed, and the rank 9 martial artists could not leave this place. Either the Divine Court Army was wiped out, or the thousands of rank 9s were killed. Otherwise, these powerhouses would have to gather in this small area to fight. The Seal the Heavens formation? Fong Ping looked up at the sky, frowning slightly. This thing was a little similar to his golden house. These ancient martial artists had many tricks up their sleeves. Although Fong Ping and the rest were full of confidence and had always looked down on ancient martial artists' combat strength as inferior to theirs, it was just a joke. These people had many tricks up their sleeves. Catacombs, martial artists, and human martial artists rarely had this kind of trapping technique. Otherwise, there would not be a situation where a rank 9 could kill a rank 7, and it was difficult to kill them even if they missed in one hit. If the opponent could not win, they could run. If they could not catch up, even if they were much stronger than them, they could not kill them. When Fong Ping's golden house appeared, many people were envious because his golden house had a way to trap enemies. "Bai Zhan, what are you standing there for?" "Kill." Beside Fong Ping, the old man was about to explode. The war had begun. What was his idiotic junior doing? Staring at the sky? What an idiot! Did he not see those corpse puppets coming for him? Even if these corpse puppets were already dead, now that they had been refined, they were not weak. The key was that there were so many of them. A rank 8 was standing there in a daze, waiting for death. Fong Ping hurriedly started running. Under the old man's furious gaze, Fong Ping did not even turn his head, running in the opposite direction of the old man. "Idiot! Idiot! You have a death wish!" The old man cursed in his heart. Bai Zhan was his junior, a fellow disciple. They were all powerhouses under the true king. He had to take care of him, even if this guy was really an idiot. But now, this guy was running around on his own. If he was killed, he could not blame him for not taking care of him. If he died here, after leaving this place, he would have something to answer to when his master asked. It was not that he did not protect him. It was that idiot who ran around on his own during the war. "Kill." "Kagu." In an instant, the sound of killing shook the sky. Thousands of puppets, led by some true god puppets, rushed into the battlefield, coming into contact with everyone in the blink of an eye. Rumble. The sound of explosions was endless. As soon as they met, the powerhouses from all sides demonstrated their strength. Dozens of corpses were blown up directly. Some of these corpses were already extremely rotten. Some even looked like they had been dead for more than 2,000 years. It was unknown if the two kings had a hobby of collecting corpses. During the battle of the earthly emperor god dynasty's destruction, they might have collected some corpses. There were powerhouses in all sides, but there were also powerhouses among the corpse puppets. Some true god-level corpse puppets were also incomparably powerful. Ah! A scream was heard. A rank 8 powerhouse encountered a true god corpse puppet. He threw a punch, but it did not shake the other party's body. Instead, the other party grabbed his head and crushed it on the spot. In this kind of chaotic battle, the explosion of a golden body was almost equivalent to death. Even if his mentality still existed, it would soon be crushed by the aftershocks of the battle between the powerhouses from all sides. Below, the battle broke out instantly. In the air, Qi Huanyu and the others were in no hurry to attack. A few golden armors and a few emperor-level corpse puppets gathered near the young man. Di Hao looked at the battle below, his expression indifferent. Qi Huanyu laughed when he saw that. Then he said loudly, "Everyone, kill the blood armors around you. Kill them all, and the seal will break." At this moment, the blood armors surrounded the corpse puppets in all directions, behind them. As long as they killed the corpse puppets and the blood armors, the heaven-sealing formation would break. Kill. The powerhouses below did not hesitate either. Many powerhouses on the combat leaderboard had come this time, and all of them displayed their corresponding combat strength. These people took the lead and walked in the air. If they encountered a corpse puppet, as long as it was not a true god-level corpse puppet, they would kill it on the spot. After conveying the order, Qi Huanyu looked around and said coldly, "You're relying on these corpses to kill us? If that's all, then you're underestimating us." Di Hao did not say anything. After watching for a while, he said indifferently, "I know you, Qi Huanyu, the number 1 on the combat leaderboard. I'd also like to see how powerful the origin powerhouses are now. Previously, you've disappointed me. As you wish." Qi Huanyu growled. Without another word, he charged forward with his spear. Kill. The top-notch powerhouses from both sides came into contact in the sky, killing each other rapidly. The energy surged. Some of the rank 9s around them had no choice but to retreat. There was a huge gap between them and these people, underground. Fang Ping and a half-crippled rank 8 corpse were fighting back and forth. It was a heated battle. Other corpses wanted to join in, but Fang Ping quietly avoided them and led them to the side to fight with others. Fang Ping looked at the humans. Kong Lingyuan had not attacked yet. Old Man Li, Wu Chuan, Wu Quishan, and the others had attacked. Some were fighting with the emperor-level corpse puppets, and some were fighting with the golden armors. However, Kong Lingyuan kept walking in the air. He did not attack, protecting the people in the team. Seeing this, Fang Ping breathed a sigh of relief. Kong Lingyuan's attack power aside, he still had a way with defense. It was not a lie that he had defended against 12 rank 9s previously. With him around, the safety of the humans was greatly increased. There are a lot of corpse puppets. Relying on the corpse puppets might not be able to kill many people, right? Fang Ping fought with the rank 8 corpse while looking around. What kind of tricks did these guys have up their sleeves? Those blood-armored soldiers did not join in the battle. Instead, they sealed off the surroundings. Clearly, they were very confident. Otherwise, if these 100 people joined in the battle, a lot more people would die. How are the corpses controlled? Fang Ping slapped the rank 8 corpse puppet in front of him. His mentality kept probing. Very soon, he found something unusual. These corpses seemed to have a trace of mentality left in their brains, extremely weak. Fong Ping sensed carefully, frowning slightly. He looked around again. This aura, it was not Di Hao's. Who's controlling the corpses? Fong Ping continued to check, but he did not find anyone with such an aura. Those blood armors and golden armors were not. There's still someone. There's still someone in the dark. They're not too far away from here. They might be outside the array. Di Hao seems to be prepared. That's right. Otherwise, if someone found out and killed the person controlling them, wouldn't the corpses be crippled? But I don't have to go out and kill people. Fong Ping was secretly happy. I can just imitate the aura. I don't have to kill people. There were many corpses here. They were also a powerful force. Once he could control them, he could use the corpses to kill others at any time. This guy's mentality isn't weak. This method, Fong Ping judged and sensed carefully. Very soon, his eyes moved. This was a little like Kwokang Mountain's method of controlling monsters. He remembered Gong. Zhuangzi said that the core of controlling monsters was to cut off a bit of spiritual consciousness to control the other party. Could it be that Kwokang Mountain's combat technique was broken like this? Someone knows a similar mentality control technique. Fong Ping thought about this. While the others were not paying attention, he secretly imitated this aura. As a result, he frowned again. Oh no, his mentality was not as strong as this person's. My mentality is 9,699 hertz, close to 10,000 hertz. This person shouldn't have reached 10,000 hertz, right? It doesn't feel like desperation realm. In that case, it might be the limit below 10,000 hertz. This is troublesome. I can't control it. Fong Ping cursed in his heart. This was troublesome. In that case, these corpses could not be used by him anymore. Rumble. As he was thinking, a person beside him was blown up by a few corpse puppets. Fong Ping glanced at it. It was a weak rank, 9. He seemed to be from Sky Plant's royal court. Rank 8 is like a dog. Like grass, dead just like that. Fong Ping sighed in his heart. This was also caused by coincidence. Every battle he participated in, it was almost always arranged by top-notch powerhouses. Naturally, rank 8s and 9s were not worth much. In reality, there were more powerhouses in the 3 realms than 1/10 of the rank 9s gathered here this time. If they were really cooked in one pot, all parties might not be able to bear such a loss. Fong Ping was still dawdling. As a rank 8 martial artist, he was not eye-catching. After fighting with the rank 8 corpse puppets for a long time, not many people paid attention to him. The killing became more and more intense. Corpse puppets were blown up one by one. Rank 8 and 9 martial artists were killed on the spot. Among the thousands of corpse puppets, the weak ones were also gradually eliminated. However, the powerhouses from all 4 sides were now surrounded in the center. Those corpses did not know death and were not afraid of death. They kept charging and killing, shrinking everyone's activity space step by step. Previously, the powerhouses from all 4 sides were thousands of meters apart. However, at this moment, thousands of people were squeezed into the space of 1,000 meters. They're all squeezed together. I can even attack old Kong now. Fong Ping thought casually in his heart. As soon as this thought came to his mind, Fong Ping was suddenly stunned. He could attack Kong Lingyuan now. Moreover, the battle circle seemed to be shrinking. The surrounding blood armor warriors were also moving forward, shrinking the seal. No, something's wrong. I forgot something. I think I forgot the time. At this moment, Fong Ping was terrified. I forgot the time. What time? The time when Qi Huanyu and Di Hao encountered each other. After attacking and killing the human, Qi Huanyu fled quickly. He was a top-notch rank 9 powerhouse. Fang Ping and the others stayed for a while before they started to chase. However, when they caught up to Qi Huanyu and Golden Armor had not started fighting yet. Both sides seemed to have just encountered each other. The battle that followed only broke out after they arrived. Time difference. I forgot the time difference. At least 1 minute. What was Qi Huanyu doing in that 1 minute? What was Di Hao doing? Fang Ping's eyes were about to pop out of their sockets. Qi Huanyu and Di Hao fought and was almost killed. No one had considered this question. He only felt that he had forgotten something, but he did not think too much about it. Gu Qing and the others did not know that Qi Huanyu had attacked and killed the human before escaping. However, the thought that had just arisen made Fang Ping extremely terrified. The catacombs and the other party have joined forces. As soon as the thought came to mind, Fang Ping could not care anymore. They wanted to wipe out all the other forces in one fell swoop. Watch out! The catacombs and the 2 kings have joined forces. An extremely sharp roar rang out. At this moment, the situation changed. Chapter 952. Ah! A shriek was heard. Qi Huanyu and Di Hao, who were fighting, attacked at the same time. One spear and the other spear attacked Luo Yu, who was closest to them. 2 top-notch powerhouses attacked. Luo Yu was fighting a golden-armored powerhouse. The golden-armored powerhouse was prepared. The moment the 2 attacked, he ignored his injuries and kept Luo Yu occupied. The powerhouse ranked 8th on the leaderboard had half of his golden body destroyed by the 3 of them. Golden flesh and blood splattered in the air. Senior Prince, countless powerhouses from the overseas Immortal Islands were furious. Luo Yu was the strongest top-notch rank 9 from the overseas Immortal Islands this time. Now, he was severely injured in the blink of an eye. The overseas Immortal Islands were in big trouble. Qi Huanyu. Luo Yu was not dead yet. At this moment, he tore apart the void, and his half of the golden body instantly moved tens of meters away, dodging the second attack of the 2. Suddenly, a sense of danger came from behind. Ah! Another shriek was heard. Luo Yu's head exploded. No! Everyone was stunned. Luo Yu was dead. As for the person who made the move, it was beyond everyone's expectations. Gu Qing. The 3 parties have joined forces. Wu Quishan was livid. He roared, "Kill! Kill them!" The 3 parties have joined forces. Even Grandmaster had joined forces with them. Gu Qing's rescue of Qi Huanyu was a trap. They were putting on a show. Kill! None of the humans dared to believe it now. With the addition of the Divine Court army, the 5 forces had originally been attacking one side from 4 sides, but now it had become 3 against 2. There were more than 400 rank 9s in the catacombs, and close to 200 in Grandmaster. Together with the Divine Court army, there were more than 700 rank 9s. That was not counting the corpses. It was hopeless. The humans and the overseas Immortal Islands only had more than 400 rank 9s. The difference was almost double. Qi Huanyu, Di Hao, Gu Qing, these top-notch powerhouses were on their side. Gu Qing. Qi Huanyu. You're asking a tiger for its skin. Jiang Quishan was terrified. Oh no! At this moment, Qi Huanyu and Gu Qing shouted, "Kill them all quick!" Many people were also a little confused. Qi Huanyu and the others had not told everyone. Some people did not understand, but some people knew. The moment the 2 of them made their moves, the experts of Ping, Yu Heaven also made their moves, charging towards the humans. Among the catacombs powerhouses, there were also dozens of them, who were swiftly charging towards Kong Lingyuan. As for Fang Ping, That roar earlier had also foiled his stealth plan. At this moment, someone had also noticed him. In the sky, Qi Huanyu, Gu Qing, and Di Hao had worked together to destroy Luo Yu's golden body. At this moment, they all looked at Fang Ping. Qi Huanyu burst out laughing. "You're Fang Ping? How dare you? I was almost fooled by you." "Di Hao, Gu Qing, kill him." Luo Yu was the leader of the extraterrestrial immortal islands, while Fang Ping was the leader of the human world. After killing these two, the morale of the army would be shaken. Let's see how they would continue fighting. Fang Ping leaped into the air, returning to his original form in the blink of an eye. With a punch, he blasted out a gigantic spatial rift, killing a weak rank 9 right in front of him on the spot. Fang Ping roared furiously. "Idiot! Mother asterisk cur! The 3 of you are working together. Gu Qing, you idiot, you'll be the next to die. You have a sharp tongue." Qi Huanyu knew that he could talk. Without giving him any time, he slashed his spear across the sky. At this moment, Old Man Li's sword Qi soared into the sky, slashing a golden-armored powerhouse in half. He flew across the sky and roared, "Qi Huanyu, I'll fight you." Overseas immortal islands. Yu Wu Hua of Immortal Inquiry Island was also shocked and furious. He could not care less and shouted, 33 islands, join forces with the human world and kill the enemy." As soon as he finished speaking, he soared into the sky and headed straight for Gu Qing. The water buffalo, Li Wuji, was also roaring furiously. This turn of events was far beyond their expectations. Not only was the catacombs not enough, but Grandmaster had also joined in. In this case, all of them might really be killed. Kill. Bitter Sea's demons. Follow me to kill the enemy. The water buffalo's horns emitted a dazzling golden glow, swiftly charging toward a golden-armored powerhouse. At this moment, the battlefield was in chaos. Screams were heard one after another. They were being attacked from both sides. There were corpse puppets in front and the joint attack from both sides behind. Danger had arrived. Qi Huanyu, I've underestimated you. Fang Ping wielded the god-slaying saber and slashed, shattering the void and colliding with the long spear. The web between Fang Ping's thumb and index finger split open, blood dripping down. Qi Huanyu's movements were sluggish, his expression horrified. This fellow was getting stronger and stronger. Fang Ping did not retreat. The last time they fought, he did not manage to kill Fang Ping in one move, but he managed to send Fang Ping flying dozens of meters backward, slamming into the wall and sliding down. Now, Fang Ping had blocked the force of his spear. Just as Qi Huanyu was about to continue attacking, Old Man Li arrived. Break! His sword slashed across the sky. Humph! Qi Huanyu snorted. Longevity soared, 4th on the leaderboard. He would like to see how capable he was to be ranked 4th. Fang Ping did not linger. He roared, "Ling Xiao, stop Di Hao. Jiang Kuei, Xian Hua, lead your people to fight the divine court troops. 6 holy lands. Humans, follow me to kill the catacombs martial artists." Jiang Kuei and the others who were hesitant earlier changed their expressions when they heard that. The catacombs had close to 500 rank 9s. Although many had died, these people had put in a lot of effort to put on a show. Many of them had been killed. However, there were still more than 400 rank 9s left. Sino Nation, including the 6 holy lands, only had about 100 rank 9s. Fang Ping actually said to let the human martial artists defend the catacombs. At this moment, even Jiang Kuei was speechless. Although there were many corpse dummies, the divine court troops were still maintaining the seal and did not attack. With so many of them, they might have a chance to break through the siege. Follow me and kill. Jiang Kuei roared. He brandished his long spear and led the Waiyishan troops to attack. Xianhua and the others hesitated no more. They fought for survival in the face of death. Fang Ping broke through the air. At this moment, he was incomparably ferocious. A rank 9 who was blocking the way was about to stop him when Fang Ping's golden house crashed down. The god-slaying saber emitted a blinding light and slashed. He allowed the other party to attack his head. Fang Ping's saber swept out and slashed the other party in half. He did not care whether he was dead or alive. Old Kong, hang in there. At this moment, the humans were also surrounded by the catacombs' powerhouses. Ji Nen led hundreds of rank 9s and swarmed over, mixed with a large number of corpse dummies. In the blink of an eye, the humans were surrounded tightly. Kong Ling Yuan's folding fan expanded, but it began to crack in an instant. Tian Mu, Su Yunfei, Zhou Xingha, these powerhouses attacked one after another. Su Yunfei killed more than 10 corpse dummies with one slash, but in the blink of an eye, he was confronted by a brawny axe-wielding man from the catacombs. A powerhouse who was in the top 20 on the wind cloud list. Everyone protect junior sister and escort her away. At this moment, Wang Hanyue's low shout reached Fang Ping's ears. Fang Ping looked out of the corner of his eye and roared, "Dragon changing the heavens, if you dare to run, I will not let you go even if I die. Wang Hanyue, kill the enemy for me. If you dare to run, I will kill Wang Ruobing first." As he spoke, Fang Ping let out a wild roar and kicked a rank 8 until he exploded. The golden house crashed down again, smashing dozens of corpse dummies into pieces. In front, Wang Ruobing was protected by Dragon changing the heavens and the others. When she looked back, she saw Fang Ping dashing into the catacombs camp and returning to help the humans. Her expression changed slightly, and she said softly, "Senior sister, you can't run. Kill them." Wang Hanyue was shocked by Fang Ping's ferocity just now. Her heart palpitated slightly at that moment. Fang Ping gave her the feeling that he was going to kill her in the next moment. At this moment, hearing Wang Ruobing's words, Wang Hanyue's expression changed. If she was here, she would not run now. But looking at the blood armor warriors again, Wang Hanyue sighed softly. "Kill them! Kill the enemy!" Wang Hanyue shouted. With a swing of her sword, a few corpse dummies in the way were killed. She was also a top-notch powerhouse at the top of the ranking list. "Jinan, Lu Wushan, you're asking for it." Fang Ping charged into the camp directly, letting some rank 9s attack him. Blood flowed from his mouth, his eyes bloodshot, and he slashed at Jinan. Jinan's expression did not change. She shouted in a low voice, "Surround him and kill him." Fang Ping was asking for it. There were so many powerhouses in Divine Land, yet he dared to rush here. What else could it be if he was not asking for it? Dozens of powerhouses charged toward Fang Ping instantly. Fang Ping did not care. He slashed with his saber, and there was a loud bang. Fang Ping flew backward, smashing a big pit on the ground. Everyone was about to chase after him when Jinan's expression changed. She shouted, "Be careful!" At this moment, everyone realized that something was wrong. Fang Ping's aura disappeared. In the next moment, a rank 9 powerhouse felt a chill down his spine. He did not have time to think. Just as he was about to dodge, he saw his torso exploding, and in the blink of an eye, his head exploded too. Fang Ping disappeared in a flash, roaring, "Come and kill me! If you can't kill me, all of you will die today." Having said that, Fang Ping turned around and transformed. In the blink of an eye, he looked like Jinan. He rushed into the crowd instantly. Jinan's expression was livid. She roared, "Surround him! Don't give him a chance to blend in with us." The scene was too chaotic. A powerhouse like Fang Ping could turn into someone else with a shake of his body. If they could not keep up with his speed, then they would be in big trouble. Who knew if the companion next to him was still the one just now? Quick, surround him. The rest of you, follow me to kill the resurrected martial artists. Kill them, then kill Fong Ping. At this moment, Kong Lingyuan kept his folding fan. Looking at the cracks on the fan, he laughed bitterly. Then he shouted quickly, "Everyone, there's no way out. The catacombs is a great enemy of life and death. When we meet on a narrow path, only the brave will win." Kill. With a palm to the sky, he crushed a weak rank 9 directly. Many powerhouses attacked one after another. Even the rank 8s in the crowd were not afraid at this moment. Humans and the catacombs had been fighting for many years. What kind of desperate situation had they not encountered before? They would just kill. Even if they had to die, they would take a few beasts with them. Tragic! The moment the war broke out, there were heavy casualties. There were casualties on both sides. The sound of self-destruction roared. Below, Fong Ping could not care less about who was alive and who was dead. Right now, his only goal was to mess up the crowd. Mess. He wanted to make this place chaotic, make it impossible for the catacombs to form a besieging camp. Changing, constantly changing. Fong Ping did not even know who he had turned into. His speed was extremely fast, killing everyone he saw. The god-slaying saber was incomparably sharp. Even if it was a rank 9 divine weapon, it would be slashed by the god-slaying saber. However, with so many powerhouses, even if Fong Ping created chaos, he could not avoid the predicament of being surrounded. Very soon, Fong Ping was surrounded by a group of powerhouses. Rumble! Under these people's joint efforts, they tore the void apart directly, hitting Fong Ping's golden body until it exploded. This was not just 1 or 2, but more than 20 rank 9s. Even Fong Ping could not withstand it. His golden body cracked. Large amounts of imperishable matter were constantly replenished. Even so, this was the first time Fong Ping felt that the recovery speed could not keep up with the speed of consumption. Puff! Fragments of internal organs mixed with blood spurted out, directly piercing through a rank 9's head. You bunch of idiots! How dare you cooperate with Second King? The next ones to die will be you. Everyone! Fong Ping roared suddenly. Surround and kill the catacombs powerhouses with all your might. Even if you die, you must make them pay the price. Make them the weakest party. I want Chi Huanyu to die with me. As soon as he said this, the water buffalo suddenly roared wildly, mentality fluctuating. Kill the catacombs martial artists, kill them. Gu Qing, get your people to make way. I will only kill them. Even if I die, you will be the ones who will benefit from it in the end. The water buffalo roared madly, its horns also bursting with a powerful and terrifying sharp light. Gu Qing, who was fighting with Yu Wuhua, did not make a sound. However, below, the attacking momentum of some of the Grandmaster people seemed to have slowed down. Chi Huanyu, who had sent Old Manly flying with a spear, saw this and scolded angrily. You still want to scheme against each other now. You bunch of trash. No wonder you are still so useless after all these years. He was really angry. What kind of situation was this? These Grandmaster people actually still had the mood to do this. With a short sentence from Fong Ping, these fellows actually began to make way, allowing the overseas Immortal Islands people to kill their way into the tight encirclement. Chi Huanyu was furious. These people were not worth conspiring with. Even if these people were old antiques at this moment, in his eyes they were still trash, stupid, incompetent. They were really stupid. Hee, you're even more useless. At this moment, Old Manly let out a strange laugh and said, I have a sword, break longevity. When this sword was unleashed, Chi Huanyu's expression changed, slightly. It was the same sword from last time. Li Changsheng was far less powerful than he was now. Qi Huanyu instinctively wanted to dodge. If he dodged this sword, the longevity sword would be useless. When he dodged, Old Man Li's target was not him at all. This sword went straight for the rank 9s, who surrounded Fang Ping. Bang! 3 consecutive explosions were heard. This sword was too fast, so fast that the others could not react at all. They also did not expect Li Changsheng, who was fighting with Qi Huanyu, to have the energy to attack them. 3 rank 9s were killed with 1 sword. At the same time, Fang Ping did not care. Like a street thug, he hugged a rank 9 and took the attacks from the others. Fang Ping was beaten until his flesh and blood splattered. A few of his golden bones were cracked. The person he hugged, on the other hand, had his golden body blown up directly. Fang Ping wrapped his arms around him and crushed him into a bloody pulp. Old Man Li killed 3 rank 9s with 1 sword. Behind him, Qi Huanyu reacted and stabbed his spear, piercing through his chest. Longevity! At this moment, Wu Chuan and the rest were anxious too. They roared furiously, killing each other while bathed in blood. Some killed the golden-armored powerhouses until they exploded continuously. Some killed the catacombs martial artists until their limbs were sent flying. Seeing this scene, Di Hao, who had not made a move since the beginning, frowned slightly as he looked at the grinning Ling Xiao opposite him. Ling Xiao did not seem anxious at all. She just looked at him and giggled. Ling Xiao. When he saw a golden-armored powerhouse on his side being beheaded by Wu Chuan, Di Hao frowned slightly. You want to stop me? Why don't you take a guess? Di Hao seemed to be a little wary of Ling Xiao. He said in a low voice, You know what happened back then? You and I are not enemies. Are you going to stop me? He asked me to stop you. Ling Xiao pointed at Fang Ping below, who was covered in blood. She giggled. My master promised him to lend him a hand. I can only stop you then. But Ling Xiao giggled. But since you killed him, I don't have to care anymore. Di Hao's gaze flickered. The next moment, he no longer cared about Ling Xiao. He dashed toward Fang Ping at lightning speed. Kill! A soft, low growl rang in Fang Ping's ears. The next moment, Fang Ping felt a pain in his chest. A blood-colored spear had pierced through his body. His 9th-level golden body seemed to have lost its effect at this moment. Fang Ping spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. Then he let out a loud roar, grabbed the spear tip, and stabbed it forward. The spear pierced through his body. Behind him, Di Hao gave up control and let the spear pierce through his body, impaling a rank 9 powerhouse who had just rushed toward him. After the spear pierced through that person, Di Hao stretched out his hand and grabbed it. The spear landed in his hand instantly. Once again, he stabbed it toward Fang Ping's head. Fang Ping's eyes flashed. He ignored him and dashed toward the catacombs martial artists. Di Hao was slightly stunned. This was his first time encountering such a situation. The other party did not want to fight him, but killed the catacombs martial artists, even if he had pierced him with a spear just now. Interesting. Di Hao chuckled. Without another word, he charged toward Fang Ping again. Fang Ping did not fight him. He dashed into the crowd, not caring who the other party was, waving his saber and slashing. At this moment, a strange scene appeared on the entire battlefield. The humans and the overseas immortal islands went crazy, only killing the catacombs martial artists. Even if there were divine court military powerhouses, corpse puppets, and grandmasters behind them, they did not care. They only killed the catacombs powerhouses. In such a large-scale chaotic battle, the number of casualties increased drastically. Rumble! Explosions rang out one after another. The humans used the imperishable substances given by Fong Ping one after another. However, in the blink of an eye, people still started falling. The rank 8 powerhouses who came in were the first to bear the brunt. These people could usually gang up on rank 9s. However, there were countless rank 9s now, and the chaotic battle was endless. If they fought a rank 9s alone, or even were surrounded and killed by rank 9s, how could they resist? A human rank 8 from the Wuan military, who Fong Ping was familiar with, laughed and roared, "I hope to fight for humans again in my next life." Rumble! An explosion rang out. Souls returned to the catacombs. "Brothers, see you in our next life." A rank 9 powerhouse roared. In the next moment, his golden body was destroyed by many rank 9s, but his mentality remained. He had no intention of escaping, condensing into a blood-red saber, exploding in the crowd in the blink of an eye. Many rank 9s spat out blood. No, half of Fong Ping's skull was smashed by someone. At this moment, he kicked a person's skull and burst it. Looking over, he roared madly, "All of you, stay alive! Stay alive! I'm not dead yet." "Ling Xiao, attack!" "Hee, it's fine as long as you're not dead. Master said that I don't need to care if you're not dead." "Ling Xiao, if you don't attack, Heavenly King Suppression will destroy your Mount Wanwu lineage. That's Master and the rest's business. It has nothing to do with me." Ling Xiao was not agitated. Fong Ping saw this, and his eyes flashed. He said nothing. It was better to rely on oneself than on others. He glanced at the 7 to 8 rank 9s surrounding him. There were still several rank 19s outside. Fong Ping laughed bitterly. "You forced me to do this." As soon as he said that, the golden house exploded with a rumble. Fong Ping's face was pale. This time, the void shook violently. It was unprecedentedly intense. Fong Ping did not care about that. Taking advantage of this gap, the god-slaying saber swept in all directions, chopping off many rank 9s' torsos in the blink of an eye. Just when some people outside wanted to escape, Fong Ping's mentality recovered rapidly. With a rumble, he exploded again. Once again, he killed some people. At this moment, Fong Ping was like a mad demon. Self-destruct. Kill the enemy. Self-destruct. Kill the enemy. After 7 to 8 times, these people did not have time to react. The rank 9s around them had already been killed. Fong Ping was bleeding all over. His head had recovered, but his eyes were a little dull. Crack! A faint cracking sound was heard in his mind. Fong Ping laughed bitterly. He knew that his brain nucleus was about to explode. It was worth it. He killed more than 20 rank 9s. From start to finish, he alone had killed close to 30 rank 9s. "Qi Huan Yu Di Hao Gu Qing." Fong Ping laughed out loud. "If I don't die, all of you will live in my nightmare for the rest of your lives." Just when Fong Ping was about to self-destruct his mentality again, Wu Chuan broke through the air and came to him. His chest was penetrated. He pressed down on him and roared, "Enough! It's not your turn yet." As soon as he said that, Wu Chuan attacked with his sword, clashing with Di Hao, who had just arrived. Uffed! Both parties had only fought for a short while when the already heavily injured Wu Chuan's lower body was broken by Di Hao's spear. Wu Chuan recovered rapidly. Fong Ping gave him a look, gritted his teeth, and said, "You hold on, I'll go kill the others." As soon as he said that, Fong Ping dashed toward the catacombs camp again. This time, many people were a little afraid. Dozens of people surrounded Fong Ping, but in the end, all of them died. Ji Nan was fighting with Tian Mu at this time. Seeing this, she roared, "Kill him! He's an arrow at the end of its flight. Let him self-destruct. Let's see how many times he can self-destruct." There were more than 400 rank 9s, on the catacombs side. Now, there were more than 300 people left. As for the humans and overseas immortal islands rank 9s, there were only about 300 people left. At this moment, rank 9s died like rain. Guqing's side suffered the least losses. 200 rank 9s. Other than a few people, there were almost no losses. Both parties were killing their people, even when they were attacked from behind by Guqing and his group. These people were still incomparably crazy, especially the humans. Even if they died, they would self-destruct. On the verge of death, they did not hesitate and self-destructed directly. Reborn martial artists. This was Jinan's first time witnessing the madness of reborn martial artists. There was even a moment where he was wavering. This time, the royal court killed Fang Ping, and the rest killed Wu Chuan, and the rest, once they went out, would it cause the land of rebirth to go all-out war with the royal court, regardless of everything. Not against the catacombs, but like Fang Ping and the rest. Even if they died, even if the royal court like Tianji attacked, they would not care, just staring at them and killing them. Was I wrong? Jinan wavered slightly. Very soon he stopped thinking. There was no more chance for regret. Qi Huanyu and the Divine Court Army joined forces to strangle the overseas immortal islands powerhouses and the reborn martial artists. Actually, the most important reason was to surround and kill the reborn martial artists. He knew that Fang Ping and the rest had many tricks up their sleeves. Fang Ping, Li Changsheng, Wu Quishan, Wu Chuan, Tianmu, even the catacombs were familiar with these names. If these people did not die sooner or later, they would become a disaster. Even if he could not get the treasure this time, in Qi Huanyu's opinion, he had to kill these reborn martial artists. Otherwise, there might be a few martial king powerhouses among them. In order to strangle them, Qi Huanyu did not hesitate to join forces with the enemy. Who would have thought that he would join forces with the other party? The Life King was the main force to strangle the two kings. In the land of war, the Life King was the one leading the operation. However, he had joined forces with the Divine Court Army. This was also the only way to confuse everyone and lure the reborn martial artists into a trap. This time, they were directly trapped here. Otherwise, it would be very difficult to strangle them completely, especially Fang Ping, who had too many tricks. Qi Huanyu suspected that if he did not seize this opportunity, no one could kill Fang Ping. If he changed his aura and hid in the catacombs, who could find him? And now the opportunity was right in front of him. The killing continued. Corpses piled up like mountains, and blood flowed like rivers. Booming sounds resounded throughout heaven and earth. More and more rank 9s died in battle. More and more powerhouses were surrounded and killed. The overseas immortal islands side was already on the verge of collapse. Their leader, Luo Yu, seemed to have died in battle. Yu Wuhua was also no match for Guqing. He was killed by 2 Guqings. If this went on, this side would soon collapse. Once it collapsed, there would be no more chances. It was a dead end, a dead end. Chapter 953. Outside, names were extinguished one by one. A lot. In the blink of an eye, out of more than 1,500 names, about 200 were extinguished. Even names on the leaderboard were vanishing one by one. More than 100 names had already disappeared. Now, in less than 2 hours, a quarter of the manpower had been lost. What is there to mourn about life? What is there to fear about death? Taoist Feng Yun sighed. More coffins appeared behind him. Names disappeared one by one, imprinted on the coffins. Sino Nation had 30 rank 9s and 20 rank 8s. On Stellar Sky City's side, there were also close to 20 rank 9s who had entered. 70 top-notch powerhouses. At this moment, more than 10 names were extinguished in the blink of an eye. An unprecedented loss. Magic City Battle, Tiananmen Battle, Purple Forbidden City Battle, even the Capital City Battle back, then had not lost so many rank 8s and 9s. Humans could not afford to lose them. On the Sino leaderboard, there were 80 rank 9s and more than 100 rank 8s. In the whole of Sino Nation, there were only slightly more than 200 rank 8s. At this moment, Sino Nation had lost more than 5% of its powerhouses. And this was just the beginning. Not only Sino Nation, but other holy lands and countries, powerhouses' names were constantly vanishing. Zhang Tao seemed to be smiling and crying at the same time. Taoist Fengyan was still talking. Zhang Tao did not even look at him, covering the sky with one hand. He crushed his illusion directly. The coffins behind him, the coffins that belonged to the Sino Nation powerhouses, shattered one after another. We are human martial artists. When we die in the catacombs, we don't need outsiders to collect our bodies. Zhang Tao stood up, looked around, and said in a loud voice, "Humans never fear battle. Victory." An emperor-level powerhouse shouted loudly. In the next moment, Warlord and the others shouted one after another. Victory! Unstoppable! A group of old people, a group of powerhouses like soldiers, shouted loudly. Victory! Death, no fear. Death was not the end, just the beginning. In the king's battleground, Fang Ping was bathed in blood, but the enemies were endless. More and more. Outside, the blood-colored warriors began to shrink the seal. This time, they wanted to trap and kill these powerhouses. Qi Huanyu pierced Old Man Li with his spear again, saying indifferently, "Fourth on the leaderboard? You're still far from that." Old Man Li let out a ferocious roar. Once again, he struck with his sword. With a crack, the godly spear broke. The upper half was still inside Old Man Li's body. Far from it, Old Man Li grinned. "I'm 60 years old. How old are you?" "Trash. A bunch of trash dares to boast about talent and strength to us humans? Ridiculous." Even though Old Man Li was no match for his opponent, he still laughed maniacally. This time around, Qi Huanyu did not look down on them. After pondering for a moment, he threw down the broken spear and said with a smile, "That's right. The resurrected warriors do have great potential. That's why we set up this plan to kill them, because you guys are too outstanding." This was a compliment. Yes, they were too outstanding. He was so outstanding that it made many people fearful and uneasy. One martial king could kill a martial emperor, but what about 2? What about 3? What about the group? They did not dare to wait any longer, especially the grandmasters. Other than the 6 that had joined the human side, the other grandmasters were all afraid. The great peace celestial emperor had died at the hands of King Wu. The martial artists of the human world did not have any respect, reverence, or subservience towards the realm beyond heavens. As a result, Gu Qing cooperated with them. Old Man Li wanted to laugh, but he could not. Looking around, there was no way out. Some of his old friends had died. Initially, he thought that once he stepped into rank 9, he would be invincible. He would be able to protect the people. He would be able to protect them. Now, it seemed like it was all in vain. Ha ha ha. At this moment, Old Man Li burst into laughter. "Everyone calls me the longevity sword, but they don't know that I have another sword. Qi Huanyu, I'll give it to you today." The next moment, Li Changsheng's golden body exploded. Life sword. At this moment, a series of illusions appeared in the void. There was the old vice-chancellor that Fang Ping was familiar with, Huang Jing, who had died in the catacombs, MCMU instructors and students, powerhouses from all over the world. They were all dead. The people had suffered, but they had no regrets. Even if they died, they would protect humanity. After fighting for more than 100 years, millions of people had died, but no one had ever complained of suffering or regret. This was the path of life. At this moment, Old Man Li overwhelmed the heroes, laughing. "I'll kill him. You guys continue to kill. I won't stop until you die." Kill. Monstrous, murderous aura covered the entire battlefield. The fourth place on the ranking list was not an undeserved reputation. This time, Qi Huanyu felt an intense sense of danger. It was even more powerful than the previous slash. The previous slash, Li Changsheng had pretended to slash him. He had dodged, allowing Li Changsheng to kill 3 powerhouses. This time, he had not planned to dodge. However, when he felt the threat of death, Qi Huanyu's movements paused slightly. Then he left immediately. He was slightly afraid. "Ha ha, how useless!" Li Changsheng laughed. Useless, although he was strong, without the heart of a brave man. So what if he was invincible? Break. Rumble. One slash to break the sky. He did not plan to kill him at all. It was also very difficult to kill him. He wanted to break this cage and let everyone run for their lives. He slashed with his sword. Countless shadows were like vengeful spirits, each wielding a sword. In the blink of an eye, they had covered the 2 blood-armored warriors. Rumble! The 2 blood-armored warriors were extremely powerful, but at this moment, they could not fight back at all. They were directly cut into tens of thousands of pieces by the countless shadows. Click! A faint sound was heard. At this moment, Dihao shouted, "Mend!" With a loud roar, the other blood-armored powerhouses shouted one after another. Their faces were pale, and they began to mend the gap that had just been slashed. Don't think you can leave so easily. These blood-armored warriors had to pay a price to maintain the seal. They had paid such a huge price to kill these people. How could they let them escape? Once the seal was broken, these powerhouses would run in all directions. How many could they kill? Dihao shouted coldly. However, he had to admit that the longevity sword was truly powerful. He had slashed a gap in the seal maintained by 98 blood-armored warriors. Moreover, he had killed 2 of them. This was the second time the blood-armored warriors had lost a blood-armored warrior after losing a blood-armored warrior. The longevity sword had killed one of the 5 golden-armored warriors. Dihao sighed inwardly. 4 of the Divine Court army had died, and 3 of them were killed by this person. This person deserved to die, but he was still a rare hero. The martial artists of the human world were truly different. How terrifying! In the air, Li Changsheng had a look of despair on his face. He was slightly disappointed. Half of his golden body had exploded, and he fell powerlessly. He had failed. He had thought that he could break the seal with this slash and fight for a way out for everyone, but he had failed. Now, he could no longer fight. His injuries were severe. Did he regret it? If he had known that he would not have broken the seal and continued fighting with Qi Huanyu, he would have been able to hold off a powerful enemy. Now, however, Qi Huanyu was free. "Kid, I overestimated myself," Old Man Li murmured, a little sorrowful. "I couldn't break the seal. What should humanity do?" "I overestimated myself, too." Fong Ping's panting rang in his ears. Fong Ping caught the half-dead Li Changsheng and grinned. "I overestimated myself. I thought that the catacombs were our only opponents. Now I realize that I was wrong. In this world, we can only rely on ourselves. Old man, was I too naive?" Qi Huanyu had already arrived in the air. He said mildly, "You didn't overestimate yourself. On the contrary, you underestimated yourselves. Compared to the 2 kings, you're more terrifying than the 2 kings." Dihao was stunned by his words. Wu Chuan's sword had pierced through his golden armor. Qi Huanyu ignored him and sighed. "You've really underestimated your threat. The martial king massacred everywhere. You, Fang Ping, Li Changsheng have also massacred everywhere. You killed until everyone was terrified. You killed until we didn't dare to be your enemy. Is this normal? It's not normal. Qi Huanyu had too many things to say and too many feelings. The land of rebirth is the weakest, the shortest time to rise. But it's more impressive than divine land. Enemies are everywhere, but I'm unmoved. I used to wonder why divine land can't be like the land of rebirth. If that's the case, who would divine land be afraid of? It's a pity. I can only think about it. As Qi Huanyu spoke, a spear condensed from energy pierced through the air. It was unstoppable. Fang Ping blocked it with his saber. With a rumble, he stomped on the void and dragged old man Li back dozens of steps. Qi Huanyu followed closely, laughing. So you can only die. Fang Ping, don't worry. Even if you die, I'll give you a proper burial. Prepare your own coffin. At this moment, Fang Ping's eyes went blank. Qi Huanyu's expression changed slightly. Then, he spat out a mouthful of blood. The next moment, with a low growl, half of his head exploded. There was silence everywhere. Everyone was dumbfounded. Rumble. At this moment, a path appeared in the void. Crack. There was a faint cracking sound. Di Hao's expression changed. Then, he roared, "Kill Fang Ping." Gu Qing, who was fighting with Yu Wuhua, also roared, "Kill Fang Ping and take the saber in his hand." Divine weapon. They did not realize that Fang Ping's saber was a divine weapon. They thought it was a powerful rank 9 divine weapon, or even a divine weapon. In fact, they were not too tempted. However, when the wide path appeared in the void and a crack was slashed, these ancient powerhouses realized it. Divine weapon. Fang Ping's saber was a divine weapon. God-slaying saber. At this moment, many people thought of the saber in Song Mao's hand. Roar. An inhuman roar was heard. Qi Huanyu's head exploded again and again. He recovered in an instant, but his aura was greatly reduced. Then he broke through the air and fled, leaving the place in the blink of an eye. Uffed. Fang Ping also spat out a mouthful of blood. He came to his senses immediately. Watching Qi Huanyu escape, he grinned and said, "What a good-for-nothing! You don't deserve to be my whetstone." After all, he was only a rank 8. Qi Huanyu was the number 1 rank, 9. Earlier, when he attacked Qi Huanyu's path of origin with his saber, he had slashed some of the paths. However, Qi Huanyu soon discovered it. If he still could not discover it, Qi Huanyu would be a dead man. Both of them fought in the path of origin for a while. Qi Huanyu paid a huge price to defeat Fang Ping and fled quickly. Even so, Qi Huanyu was seriously injured at this moment. His path of origin was severely damaged. A few hundred meters away, Qi Huanyu's face was livid. His path of origin seemed to have been cut off a little. It was about 500 meters away. This meant that he might only be able to use half of his path of origin's power. As a result, his combat strength dropped from a top rank 9 to the limit of about 300,000 calories, which was the strength of the top 20 on the leaderboard. He was terrified. Fang Ping was devastated. It consumed a lot. His wealth was consumed too much. Studying the path of origin usually did not consume that much. However, although he had injured Qi Huanyu in the fight earlier, his wealth was consumed more than 50 million. He had consumed a lot of his wealth when he gave Zhang Tao and the Sino-Nation martial artists who came in after a few times. His wealth was only close to 1 billion. If he was like Qi Huanyu, he would consume it all in no time. This was Fang Ping's first time trying to cut someone else's path of origin. At this moment, Fang Ping laughed suddenly. "Protect me. Watch me kill more than 100 enemies today." As soon as he said that, Wu Chuan, Wu Quishan, and the others roared in anger. Disregarding everything, they repelled their opponents and rushed to Fang Ping's side. The powerhouses of the 6 holy lands and various countries were also fighting and gathering toward Fang Ping. "I'll kill you first." Fang Ping pointed his saber at Ji Nan and grinned. In the next second, Ji Nan's head exploded. Qi Huanyu seemed hesitant, but he still rushed over quickly and shouted, "Let's work together and unleash the immortal god. Suppress him." Buzz. The void trembled. Even if Wu Chuan and the others were close to Fang Ping, it was difficult to stop the mentality explosion of so many powerhouses. Fang Ping's body trembled. In the blink of an eye, he retreated from Ji Nan's origin. His eyes were a little unfocused. As for Ji Nan, his head slowly recovered, but his eyes were dull. He collapsed with a loud bang. He did not die, but he was not much different from Kong Lingyuan and the others. Fang Ping coughed up blood and laughed. "It's even worse if I don't die. If Life King saves you, I'll twist my head off and give it to you." With the personality of the catacombs powerhouses, would they be willing to pay such a huge price to save a level 5 or 6 origin martial artist? Even if they were from the Ji family. "Kill them!" Di Hao, Gu Qing, and Qi Huanyu roared in anger. Fang Ping wielded the divine weapon and charged into the path of origin. It was very difficult to defend. The top-notch powerhouses might be able to handle it if they were prepared. The other martial artists below, level 7 origin, were almost defenseless. Of course, this was not without a price. They also knew that the divine weapon could cut the path of origin. However, it was said that the price was very high. Although they did not see what Fang Ping had paid, it must not have been easy. Fang Ping did not care about this. He glanced at his wealth again and closed his eyes without another word. Bang! Another powerhouse's head exploded. This time, the other party could not resist at all. His head exploded in the blink of an eye. He was only a level 2 origin martial artist. Fang Ping, on the other hand, did not target those powerhouses anymore. It was very difficult for him to kill them. Moreover, it would cost too much wealth. It was not worth it. It was better to kill some weak rank 9s and let their combat strength decline rapidly. With Fang Ping as the center, there were battles and killings in all directions. The Catacombs, Divine Court Army, and Grandmaster all wanted to seize the divine weapon and kill Fang Ping. The others, on the other hand, saw hope. One after another, they protected Fang Ping, hoping that they could survive. Bang, bang, bang. One by one, the heads of the weak rank 9s exploded. Fang Ping discovered a serious problem. Cutting someone else's path of origin, even if it was just a weak rank 9s, would cost much more than just observing. The starting price was 20 million points. This was the lowest. In the blink of an eye, more than 20 rank 9s. Heads exploded. Fang Ping suddenly opened his eyes. His face turned even paler. His wealth was only about 300 million points left. He could not use it anymore. If he used it again, the people present would not even have the imperishable substance to recover. Fang Ping looked around, his face full of despair. There were close to 300 rank 9s and rank 8s he brought with him. Now, there were less than 200 people left alive. More than 100 had died in battle. This place had become a real meat grinder. Overseas immortal islands had about 200 rank 9s and about 100 rank 8s. Right now, Fang Ping's side was left with less than 150 people. More than half of them had died. Both sides had lost more than 200 powerhouses in an instant. However, when he saw the catacombs side, Fang Ping suddenly grinned, panting. "Qi Huanyu, does it feel good? More than 600 rank 8s and rank 9s. How many are left?" At this moment, Qi Huanyu was also looking around, his gaze solemn. More than 200. On the catacombs side, almost all of the rank 8s were wiped out. More than half of the rank 9s had died in battle too. At this moment, there were only more than 200 powerhouses left. On the other hand, Grandmaster's losses were minimal. Even the Divine Court army. Qi Huanyu ignored him. He looked at Gu Qing and said coldly, "Should I let the tiger back into the mountains? Or should you all contribute? I'm not an idiot if I don't do my best. Our people have suffered heavy casualties. I don't even know if I can walk out of here alive." As he said that, he looked at Di Hao and said darkly, "Your Divine Court army didn't attack, neither did your Emperor-level puppets. You used some useless puppets to make up the numbers. Di Hao, do you think I can't tell?" Di Hao frowned and said coldly, "The Divine Court army has expended a lot of energy. We still need to seal this place. Once we attack, the seal will be broken. Can you stop them from breaking out?" There were still many people on both sides, more than 300 people. Without the seal, more than half of them would have to escape. While both sides were talking, in the air, dozens of Mount Wanwu disciples had gathered around Ling Xiao. Fang Ping and Di Hao did not count Mount Wanwu disciples in earlier. These people seemed to be watching a show. In the beginning, Mount Wanwu people helped to kill the puppets. Later, they stopped altogether and gathered together with Ling Xiao. Di Hao did not stop them. Fang Ping and the others were even more powerless to turn hostile at this time. As time went by, Mount Wanwu's side had almost become outsiders. At this moment, Ling Xiao landed on the ground, stepping on the corpses on the ground. Her boots were stained with blood. She looked at Fang Ping and giggled. "Little brother, give me the god-slaying saber, and I'll help you. How about that?" Ling Xiao. Di Hao's expression was ugly. Ling Xiao giggled. "It's a divine weapon. Who doesn't want it?" As soon as she said that, Fang Ping tossed the god-slaying saber into her hand. Everyone was silent. Fang Ping said mildly, "Attack." Ling Xiao seemed a little dazed, a little in disbelief. "You are giving it to me just like that?" Fang Ping said coldly, "Human lives are more valuable than divine weapons." "Ling Xiao, if you're not willing to attack, I won't force you. Help me bring a few people out." Having said that, Fang Ping pointed at the few remaining rank 8 martial artists in the crowd and laughed bitterly. A divine weapon in exchange for the lives of a few rank 8 martial artists. Don't worry, Fang Ping, will not run. The rank 9 martial artists will not run either. Since Mount Wanwu is familiar with the Divine Court army and you, Ling Xiao, can stay out of this, there must be something I don't know. I don't care. God-slaying saber in exchange for a few of them. How about that? Ling Xiao looked at him in surprise. After a while, she said, "A divine weapon in exchange for a few rank 8s? Fang Ping thought for a while, then pointed at Wang Ruobing again and smiled. "Add her in." Wang Hanyue breathed a sigh of relief. Fang Ping smiled. "If you don't want Dragon Transformation's Emperor to go crazy and do whatever it takes, then let her go." Actually, he could ignore Wang Ruobing, but if he did, Dragon Transformation's people would probably go crazy. At this moment, they were already weak. If there was an internal strife, they would be in danger. Ling Xiao looked at him deeply. After a long while, she said, "Okay." "Humph." Qi Huanyu snorted coldly. Ling Xiao turned her head abruptly and looked at him. She said coldly, "You're not convinced?" Qi Huanyu was about to speak when Di Hao said in a low voice, "Okay, Ling Xiao, bring them away. I will give you face." On the other side, Gu Qing also said slowly, "I have no objections. Ling Xiao, you can't do it again. Take the divine weapon and bring these people away. I can ignore it, but if you fight for the treasure again, you will be forcing Beyond Avalon and Mount Wangu to turn against each other. They did not want the divine weapon anymore. They also agreed to let some people go. At this moment, Fang Ping could not be more surprised. What was going on with Mount Wangu? Qi Huanyu's expression changed slightly. He did not know what was going on, but the Divine Court Army and Beyond Avalon had actually compromised. Qi Huanyu frowned slightly at the few rank 8s, but he did not say anything. They were just rank 8s. Moreover, there was no prodigy like Fang Ping among them. At this moment, they were all half crippled. If Fang Ping died, these people would probably be crippled too. If that was the case, it was a good thing that Mount Wangu, which everyone was somewhat wary of, would not interfere. Ling Xiao gave him a great sense of crisis. Moreover, his Tao of origin had been cut in half by Fang Ping. It might take time for him to recover. It was not a good time to cause trouble now. If that's the case, I will also give Mount Wangu face and leave this place. Ling Xiao sneered and said with a grin, Fang Ping, are you sure you want to use the divine weapon to exchange for a few useless people? Before Master came in, he asked me to protect you. If you use the divine weapon in exchange for yourself, I might be able to bring you away. Before Fang Ping could speak, Qi Huanyu said in a low voice, Then let's fight. Bring Fang Ping away, and Divine Land will fight to the death. There is no exception for any force. Ling Xiao did not seem to hear him. Fang Ping sneered and said lightly, Are you sure? If you are, I will go with you. Ling Xiao's tone faltered. Fang Ping said calmly, Don't talk nonsense. I will give you the divine weapon. Just bring them away. Ling Xiao bring him away? Even if it was Mount Wangu, it would be useless. Qi Huanyu and the others did not care about anything this time, mainly to kill him, unless Ling Xiao had the ability to kill everyone. In the rank 8, Chen Yaoding glanced at Fang Ping and said calmly, At this point, what's the point of leaving? Giving away the divine weapon for nothing? Are you stupid? Lu Po Lu only had half a torso left. He chuckled and said, Are you sending us useless people out to wait for death? There's no need for that. If you die, who has so much imperishable substance to help us recover, it's better to die in battle and be called a hero. Fang Ping turned around to look at them and smiled. Go out. It's better to live than to die. There will be hope. There will be, just like old man Li, who was heavily injured, but still made a comeback. If that day comes, help me kill them. They glanced at him. Very soon, Chen Yaoding let out a low laugh. Without another word, he dragged Lu Po Lu out. Go. We have to live. Live until that day. Right now, they had no more strength to fight. Even if they self-destructed, they might not be able to hurt anyone, so they had to live. Even if they had to become deserters, even if they could never recover in this lifetime. They had to live to return to the human world. They had to live to tell everyone how many heroes there were in this battle. The place was eerily quiet. Ling Xiao was very surprised. Suddenly, she felt a chill in her heart. These rank 8 martial artists left just like that. Yet they left, which made her even more disappointed. Outsiders said that she, Ling Xiao, was a freak, but at this moment, she suddenly felt that she might not be as good as these rank 8 martial artists. That kind of calmness made her a little uneasy. This was a group of people who were depressed to the point of going crazy, or rather, people who had already gone crazy. It was fine if these people could not recover, but once they did, they might all be devils. Qi Huanyu's eyes were cold and fierce, ready to make a move. He felt it too. Although these people were crippled and crippled, if they could recover like the longevity sword, it would be terrifying. Ling Xiao looked at him abruptly and said coldly, If you dare to attack, I'll join forces with the Divine Court army and kill all of you. When he heard that, Qi Huanyu's expression changed, and he looked at Di Hao immediately. Di Hao frowned. Ling Xiao said coldly, I'm just unwilling, not unable. Di Hao, you know that. Di Hao took a deep breath and growled, Let them go. Qi Huanyu's expression changed completely. He did not speak anymore. He did not expect that. What gave Mount Wanwu the confidence to let the Divine Court army attack? Under everyone's gaze, Ling Xiao led the rank 8 martial artists, and Wang Ruobing to the edge of the barrier. A golden-armored powerhouse hesitated for a moment, then slowly opened a gap. Ling Xiao led everyone out. After everyone had left, Ling Xiao turned around and looked at Fang Ping, smiling. Little brother, don't hold a grudge. It's fine if you're dead, but don't hold a grudge against me when you're alive. I can't do it, and I can't let them do it either. The price is too high. It's not worth it. No, you're not a martial king. Otherwise, it would be worth it. After saying that, Ling Xiao giggled again and disappeared before everyone's eyes in the blink of an eye. The barrier closed again. Fang Ping grinned and smiled. It's fine if I'm not dead. If I'm dead, you'll have a share of this grudge too. The divine weapon is not mine. I hope that cat can let you know that the divine weapon is not something anyone can take. Chapter 954. Global High Martial Arts Update delayed. Please wait for a moment. After the content has been updated, please refresh the page to receive the latest update. Chapter 955. Ling Xiao left. In all directions, a large number of corpse puppets began to advance slowly, the ground rustling as they stepped on it. On the overseas Immortal Island side, Yu Wuhua, Li Wuji, and a few other powerhouses also began to converge on Fang Ping's side. The powerhouses from the catacombs began to retreat. The powerhouses from Grandmaster glanced at Gu Qin. Gu Qin did not say anything. As such, these people continued to surround Fang Ping and the others and did not retreat. Kill! Di Hao let out a cold roar, and a large number of corpse puppets charged toward Fang Ping and the others. Although hundreds of corpse puppets had been killed, there were still tens of thousands of them. These rank 8 and rank 9 corpse puppets did not have strong combat strength. At this moment, they were comparable to rank 7 or rank 8 powerhouses. But ants can bite an elephant to death. With so many corpse puppets, even if they couldn't kill the peerless powerhouses, it was more than enough to consume their immortal substance, mental strength, and blood energy. At this time, Fang Ping and the others were already an arrow at the end of its flight. Boom! Fang Ping stood guard at the forefront. With a punch, he killed several corpse puppets. Those who still have the strength to fight, those who can still fight, protect those heavily injured comrades. Fang Ping bellowed. Nearly 100 powerhouses took a step forward, shielding the heavily injured behind them. Kill! Fang Ping let out a furious roar. His vitality soared to the sky. His fists flashed, and a large number of corpse puppets were swept away. Kill! The angry roar shook the heavens. No one retreated. Wu Chuan, Wu Quishan, Li Daong, as well as the experts from the holy lands of Star Town, were all bathed in blood as they fought fiercely. The top-notch expert Su Yun Fei had already broken the long sword in his hand. Holding the energy sword in his hand, he did not say a word. He waved his sword horizontally and vertically, overflowing with killing intent. Corpse puppets exploded one by one. Although Weishan's Jiang Kuei did not get along with Fang Ping previously, and both of them almost fought each other in order to save his own life, he unleashed his mentality too. Like thousands of sharp swords, he stabbed the corpses one by one, bursting their skulls. Ever since Wang Hanyue saw Wang Ruobing leave, She seemed to have let go of all her worries. A thin sword appeared and disappeared unpredictably. With a swing of the sword, a bloody hole appeared on the corpse puppet's head. Xian Hua, Su Bing, Hongji, and a large number of overseas experts began to fight each other. But everyone knew that this was just drinking poison to quench their thirst. It was a dead end. So what if he killed all these corpse puppets? On the catacombs side, there were more than 200 rank 9s. There were close to 200 rank 9 martial artists in Grandmaster. The Divine Court Army still had 100 experts. By the time they killed all these corpse puppets, they would probably be crippled, not to mention that the Divine Court Army was still waiting patiently. They didn't let the Emperor-level corpse puppets attack, and some of the true God corpse puppets were left to protect the blood armor warriors. Nearly 500 or 600 experts with the combat capability of rank 9 had yet to make a move. Just the thousands of corpse puppets were enough to exhaust everything they had. After the initial bloody battle, the 3 forces had completely trapped Fang Ping and the others. The only thing they needed to do now was to wait. This can't go on. Wu Quishen's expression was solemn. He killed a rank 9 corpse puppet with a slash of his sword, sending a voice transmission. Fang Ping, you can't. Pretend to be heavily injured and retract your aura. We will try our best to send you out. Tianmu also transmitted his voice and shouted, Quick, conserve your strength. Fang Ping, we are old, but you're still young. Later, we'll erupt in an instant and try to break a hole in the ground. You escape immediately. Fang Ping gritted his teeth, golden blood dripping down drop by drop. Leave? I brought a group of Sino Nation's most elite powerhouses into the battlefield, full of confidence, thinking of killing everywhere and snatching the treasure. Now you want me to abandon these human elites and escape alone? I am the leader. If I leave, they will collapse immediately. Deserters in wartime are deserters. They should be killed without mercy. Idiots! Tianmu and the others' eyes were burning with anger. Deserters? You are the hope. Humanity's hope. If you don't leave, who will treat those heavily injured powerhouses? If you don't leave, the myth that you have created these few years will be completely shattered. You, Fang Ping, have died in the catacombs. The new generation of leaders have died in the catacombs. Do we humans still dare to fight? Leave. They roared with mentality. At this moment, their space of activity was further compressed. The corpse puppets advanced wave after wave. They did not know pain, did not care about casualties. Step by step, they stepped on the corpses of their own kind, shrinking their living space step by step. Some of the top-notch powerhouses could not hold on anymore. At the side, Fan Hyping roared. At this moment, the old man was furious. His palms were like iron palms, smashing a rank 9 corpse puppet into pieces. However, in the next moment, a few corpse puppets attacked together, blasting the old man's arms in the blink of an eye. The old man did not care. His legs swept in all directions, once again kicking the heads of some corpse puppets. Red blood dripped from the broken parts of his arms. The imperishable substance had long been used up. The golden body had exhausted its potential, reaching its limit. After guarding the Magic City catacombs for decades, witnessing the destruction of the Magic City catacombs with his own eyes, the old man had always felt that he had no regrets in this life. However, at this moment, the old man was not willing to die just like this. Behind him, there were more seriously injured comrades. In this life, I have fought more than 1,000 battles. Even if I die, I will not die in the hands of the dead. The old man's gaze was as sharp as a sword. The intention to die was evident in his eyes. He looked at Gu Qing and the others behind the corpse puppets. He was not willing. Even if he were to die, The old man wanted to bring a living person with him, not a dead one. The Grand Master whom he had his eyes on could not help but take a step back. His eyes were filled with fear, and he did not dare to move forward. At this moment, the human martial artists and the overseas immortal islands had reached the final stage. These powerhouses were also not willing to fight with them at this time. They had seen the ruthlessness of the human martial artists. Although their teamwork was not as good as the God's Court army, their fighting spirit and ruthlessness were stronger than the God's Court army. This group of new martial artists who had risen to power only a few decades ago was more terrifying than the God's Court army, who had been fighting since ancient times. On the other side, Grandmaster Feng Yu was also laughing hysterically. His laughter was hearty, but it lacked a bit of vigor. He was injured, very, very heavily. Half of his head was shattered. Right now, it could not be healed at all. Did he regret it? He had never experienced a battle like this in Shishan for many years. He had never suffered such a heavy injury. Did he regret walking out of Shishan? No, he did not regret it. He was also unwilling to accept it. He was unwilling to accept that he could not kill more enemies. He was unwilling to accept that his strength was so weak. At this moment, he wanted to but was powerless. Feng Ping, the old man suddenly roared, laughing maniacally. I've always wanted to change my surname. I don't want to have the same surname as you. But my first surname was Feng. Mother asterisk Kerr. If you want to change your surname, what right do you have to make me change it? Boom. Feng Ping blew up a corpse puppet with a punch. The golden bones in his hand began to crack. Hearing that, he laughed heartily. I won't change it. If you want to change it, then change it. If you don't, then forget it. It's your honor to have the same surname as me. What's there to be pretentious about? Son of AB asterisk TCH. You're not a son. Ha ha ha. You're so much older than me. Your grandson will have to call me uncle when he sees me in the future. Neo martial artists faced death calmly. They were not afraid of death. Even if they were usually afraid, they would not be afraid at this moment. They only had regrets and unspeakable unwillingness. They had not done their best. At this moment, Yu Wuhua, who had turned pale, swung her sword in all directions. She no longer pretended to be profound. She also laughed happily. I am Yu Wuhua, the third-generation chief of Immortal Inquisition Island. Today, even if I die here and don't have much time left, I will make friends with all of you. All of you are heroes. It's a pity that I, Yu Wuhua, was born too early. If I had known all of you back then, Wuhua's husband might be among you today. I will die with my husband. Wuhua has no regrets. I am Wuqi Li, the strongest under the true god of the water gods. Feng Ping, did you eat my ancestor's flesh or not? That damn cat actually made my ancestor lose so much flesh and blood. I'm not dead. Sooner or later, I will take revenge. Just go. Feng Ping laughed heartily. I am Dragon Island's Longxian, under the Dragon Emperor. Longxian greets everyone. I am Yun Wuyang, the third-generation direct descendant of Cloud Mountain Immortal Island. Everyone, if anyone is lucky enough to escape, tell my father that Wuyang has also killed 5 people from origin. He did not bring shame to the Yun family. The powerhouses, one by one, shouted loudly. Was there any unwillingness? Yes, but at this moment, seeing that the neo-martial artists were not afraid of death, did they, the old antiques, need to be so afraid? Feng Ping, 21 years old. Li Changsheng, 61 years old. Wu Quishan, 65 years old. Wu Chuan, 70 years old. These neo-martial artists, the young were weak, the old were barely 100 years old. If they could be calm, did they want to embarrass themselves again when they were about to die? Outside the corpse puppets, Di Hao, Qi Huanyu, Gu Qing, and a few other powerhouses stood in the air. Among the crowd that was wrapped in corpse puppets, voices came out one by one. There were familiar people, there were unfamiliar people. At this moment, Gu Qing suddenly sighed. After this war, there are not many geniuses of that generation left. In their generation, there were many geniuses. Luo Yu, Yu Wu Hua, these people were all people of their generation. Thinking back, they were also famous in the three realms. And now, these people of the same generation who had survived the great battle were about to die in this battle. The number of corpse puppets gradually decreased. Before, there were mountains and seas. Now there were a lot less, but the powerhouses that were surrounded were also decreasing. The injured did not die and continued to fight. Their injuries were too serious, and they were all dragged to the center. The surrounding defensive circle was getting smaller and smaller. Previously, there were more than 350 people left on both sides, and there were close to 200 people who could fight. Now, there were only about 300 people left. The number of people who could fight was less than 100. When Qi Huanyu saw this, he looked at Di Hao and Gu Qing and said in a low voice, "Both of you, the situation will change if you delay. Now that they have reached this stage, it's time for both of you to attack." If this went on, they might be able to completely kill Fang Ping and the others, but it would take a long time. If Di Hao and Gu Qing's people attacked, they would be destroyed in no time. Gu Qing saw this and frowned slightly. "Hall Master Qi, why make unnecessary sacrifices? They are not afraid of death and can't wait for our people to go forward. Is it necessary to self-destruct, to kill the enemy even before they die?" Among the three sides, they were the weakest. Now, however, the three sides were equal. The catacombs only had more than 200 powerhouses. They were about the same. The Divine Court Army and the True God Corpse puppets were about the same. That was the only way to balance the combat strength. Gu Qing was very satisfied with the current situation. He did not want his people to die at this time. Qi Huanyu had suffered heavy losses. Gu Qing was not willing to let them suffer the same. Di Hao glanced at the pale blood armor warriors and said calmly, "I can't let them die now. They have expended a lot of energy. If they join the battle, they will most likely die." He understood that Qi Huanyu made sense. A long delay would mean trouble. Now, however, the Divine Court Army's blood armor warriors had expended a lot of energy to maintain the Great Seal Formation. They had expended a lot of energy. The Great Seal Formation had a lot to do with the fact that so many rank 9 powerhouses had been fighting until now. The Great Seal Formation was said to be able to seal even heaven and earth. Right now, the auras of the powerhouses fighting here were sealed in this small space. That was why the Great Seal Formation had not erupted. Otherwise, it would have erupted a long time ago. Hall, Master Qi, too many people have died here. Most of them are Tao of origin. If you undo the seal now, the Great Seal Formation might erupt instantly. Are you sure you want my people to undo it? Qi Huanyu's eyes flickered, and he snorted inwardly. Previously, Fang Ping and the others had only targeted the people of Divine Land, causing them to suffer heavy losses. Previously, the strongest force was now on par with them. Qi Huanyu was also heavily injured, which made him feel slightly uneasy. However, he heaved a sigh of relief when he saw that the Divine Court Army had expended a lot of energy. Although the three parties were working together, it was only temporary. Everyone had ulterior motives. He did not want one party to dominate. "I have to recover my strength as soon as possible." Qi Huanyu was suddenly not in a hurry. It was better to wait. His Tao of origin was in chaos. He had to recover now. when Fang Ping and the others were eliminated, his injuries might recover. When that time came, he would be at his peak, and he would have more confidence. With that thought, Qi Huanyu was no longer in a hurry. The massacre was still ongoing. At this moment, outside the Great Seal Formation, far away, inside a stone mountain, everyone could see the inside of the cage-like sphere. Li Hansong's eyes were about to pop out of their sockets. "Old Wang, are you still not going to make a move?" Li Hansong could not hold it in anymore. He was panicking. Fang Ping and the others were surrounded, and many of them had died in battle. When he saw another human rank 9 self-destruct, tears welled up in Li Hansong's eyes. "Oh, Wang, let's go." Motherf *Ker, are you that afraid of death? Have you forgotten who saved your instructor? Who accompanied you to the emperor's tomb? Who helped you elevate your rank regardless of everything? Motherf *Ker. Li Hansong was restless. He wanted to rush out a few times, but Wang Jinyang held him down. "Shut up," Wang Jinyang barked coldly. He squinted at the front and said coldly, "Stop talking nonsense." "Idiot, we can't break the cage now." "Wait a little longer. I think those blood armor powerhouses can't hold on much longer." "Wait a little longer. Old Yao and I will work together to break a small hole in the sky. You go in quickly. Let me remind you, if you go in, you will definitely attract the attention of the 3 top-notch powerhouses in the sky. If the 3 of them attack together, you might be smashed into minced meat." Li Hansong was overjoyed. "They're going to attack? It's okay, I'm not afraid." "Idiot," Wang Jinyang scolded again, gritting his teeth. "It's okay if you die. If you die, how are we going to save them? Remember, the heavenly god fruit must be delivered to Fang Ping. I think his mentality is severely damaged. He can't even use the golden house anymore. Let's try everything we can. I don't know if the heavenly god fruit can elevate his mentality to 10,000 hertz. If it can, when his mentality reaches 10,000 hertz, it will make his flesh stronger. Once the golden house recovers, it will become stronger too. It can even trap powerhouses like Qi Huanyu. When that time comes, there's hope. It's better to try than not." Li Hansong took a deep breath and stopped scolding. He calmed down and gritted his teeth. "How much longer?" 30 seconds. Another 30 seconds. I don't have the confidence to break the hole now. All right, you guys be more reliable. I'll go over first. Once you guys break the hole, I'll go in immediately. Don't worry, I have emperor armor, a divine weapon. Can those beasts kill me? Be careful, Wang Jinyang exhorted him. Yao Qingjun also said in a low voice, "The time it takes to break the hole is extremely short. If you don't seize the opportunity, we only have this one chance. When we're discovered, we won't be able to do it anymore. Li Hansong, whether we can save them depends on you, not us. Understood?" Li Hansong took a deep breath. Pressure, extreme pressure. If he could not enter in an instant and seize the opportunity, Fang Ping and the others would be surrounded and killed. He did not know if the heavenly god fruit could advance his mentality to 10,000 hertz. He would give it a try. Li Hansong sneaked over there. The blood-colored longbow appeared in Wang Jinyang's hand. Waves of blood surged on the longbow. His face gradually turned pale. Yao Qingjun did not say anything. The long spear turned into a long arrow and landed on Wang Jinyang's longbow. His face also turned pale. With the combined strength of 2 people and 2 divine weapons, there should be a chance to break a small crack. The seal now was not as strong as it was at the beginning. If Li Changsheng could still use the life sword, he might be able to break the hole. 10, 9, muttering in his heart, Old Wang said quickly, "Old Yao, if it doesn't work, take Iron Head away." Got it. Tell Ironhead to stop being so stupid. Look for Old Cat and ask where the heavenly realm ruins are. Recover your strength. Avenge them. Got it. Break. A low roar was mixed with the sound of space shattering. Buzz. In the void, a black crack appeared, extending all the way to the top of the cage. In an instant, red blood gushed out of Wang Jinyang's mouth. Yao Chengjuan's head exploded directly. It recovered in the blink of an eye, then exploded again in the blink of an eye. At the same time, a golden silhouette dashed into the sky at top speed. Almost at the same time as the long arrow hit the cage, the golden silhouette arrived at the same time. Boom! A pair of iron fists, and the long arrow bombarded the seal together. Crack! A faint cracking sound was heard. Break! A low roar resounded through the sky. Crack! A hole appeared. The golden silhouette entered it instantly. Kill! A loud roar echoed in all directions. Someone had broken in. The moment the long arrow fell into the seal, Fong Ping's eyes lit up instantly. He roared, "Reinforcements are here! Kill! Kill! Kill!" Morale was boosted. Everyone who was dispirited just now was roused at this moment. In the blink of an eye, there were less than 100 people, but they killed until the void shattered and the black cracks connected. From all directions, the cracking sounds rang out incessantly. In an instant, the hundreds of corpse puppets in the outermost circle were cut into pieces by the countless cracks. Boom! In the sky, Di Hao and Gu Qing attacked at the same time, charging toward Li Hansong, who had dashed into the seal. Di Hao's expression was ugly. A mere rank, 1 and 8 dared to break into the great seal of heaven's formation. He had a death wish. Qi Huanyu was still recovering, so he did not attack. However, with his and Gu Qing's strength, killing a rank 8 would be too easy. It would only take one move. The blood-colored spear pierced toward Li Hansong immediately. An earth-shattering boom was heard. Under the armor, Li Hansong's internal organs were shattered. A large mouthful of golden blood spurted out, but he grinned and laughed. "Mother ***, can you penetrate my emperor armor? It can't be." At this moment, Li Hansong suddenly felt his mentality being torn apart. His vision blurred for a moment. Then, a section of his tongue was spat out. Li Hansong's eyes were lifeless. Gu Qing's mentality attack almost tore his mentality apart completely. "I want to give you the heavenly god fruit. I can't die." Li Hansong roared in his heart. He roared, "Get lost!" At this moment, it was as if a ferocious tiger had awakened. Li Hansong threw a punch. His right fist was crushed, but the blood-colored spear was sent flying backward. This roar completely shattered Gu Qing's psychic energy that was about to attack him. In the blink of an eye, Li Hansong landed in the middle of the crowd. At this moment, Wu Chuan and the rest exploded one after another. With a furious roar, they charged toward the two people who were chasing after them in the air. Demon Martial Sword. At this moment, they used a combat technique that Fong Ping had never known before. Demon Martial Sword. He did not know that this combat technique existed. No one told him that the combat technique created by the old vice-chancellor in the past was Demon Martial Sword. The powerhouses who had learned this combat technique were only his few students, and people like Wu Quishan who were not students but were more like students than students. As soon as this sword was unleashed, its power was displayed. Uft! The sound of metal tearing through flesh was heard. Di Hao had just rushed over when his golden armor was cut into pieces. His flesh disappeared instantly, and his right arm fell off. Di Hao's expression changed drastically. Without another word, he flew backward. At this moment, he could not care less about the few MCMU powerhouses falling down. Gu Qing, who was originally ready to rush over, was also shocked when he saw this. He quickly retreated from the battle's circle. These people still had the strength to fight. Bang! The sound of something falling was heard. At this moment, 3 powerhouses fell to the ground. Tianmu, Wu Chuan, Wu Quishan. The 3 powerhouses from MCMAU had just performed a sword together. It was a little similar to a joint attack combat technique. When they erupted together, even a true god powerhouse like Di Hao could not block it. His right arm was severed. Not only was it severed, but at this moment, Di Hao was constantly recovering. However, it seemed like he had suffered a permanent injury. The flesh of his right arm could not recover. At this moment, Di Hao's expression changed. In this way, his combat strength would also be affected. A martial artist was missing an arm. He was still using a spear with his right arm. It did not affect him much against ordinary powerhouses, but against top-notch powerhouses, his combat strength would definitely be greatly affected. Di Hao's expression was gloomy. He looked at the 3 people who had fallen. These 3 people, individually, none of them were a match for him. However, at this moment, under the condition of serious injuries, they exploded with extreme combat strength. The 3 of them had severed his arm. He could not even care about Li Hansong, who had just fallen into the camp. At this moment, Fang Ping similarly could not care about old Wu and the other 2. The moment Li Hansong fell into the camp, he pounced on him abruptly. Without a word, he stuffed something into his hand. Then, the divine armor dissipated. His flesh exploded continuously, falling among the wounded at the back. Li Hansong uttered this word soundlessly. He grinned. Then his cheeks exploded, revealing his golden skeleton. It was extremely terrifying. Fang Ping did not utter a word. Without another word, he swallowed the thing in his hand into his stomach. Li Hansong did not care about his life and forced his way in just to deliver this. He did not care what it was. He would eat it first. Chapter 956. Fang Ping swallowed the heavenly god fruit with tears in his eyes. He wanted to cry. Really, it was not because Li Hansong was not afraid of death. At least, Fang Ping was not afraid of death. But at this moment, he felt so miserable that he wanted to cry. Other than the time when Huang Jing died in battle, he had never felt such a sense of defeat. Unprecedented defeat, helplessness, sorrow, unwillingness, anger. Too many people had died in battle here. Perhaps everyone was prepared to die in battle before they came. But he didn't. He was full of confidence. He thought that even if there were setbacks, he could overcome them. He was very powerful. Not only was he powerful, but so were the martial artists. We are not afraid of death, so we can kill them without fear. But at this moment, reality told him that being unafraid of death was useless. His strength was still not enough. It was not the individual, but the entire human race that was not strong enough. We are weak, so even if we bare our fangs and brandish our claws, it is still not enough. No matter how fierce you are still weak, so you have to take a beating. Fang Ping swallowed the heavenly god fruit. The next moment, Fang Ping heard a cracking sound in his mind. His brain was cracking. Li Hansong set him up. Fang Ping had no such thoughts. He was just thinking, what a fool, Tai Tu. What did he send in at the risk of his life? Does he think I'm not dying fast enough and wants me to die faster? Is he in a hurry to send his boss on his way? That idiot! Don't feed it to me just because you don't know what it is. Fang Ping felt helpless. The next moment, Fang Ping suddenly felt his head swelling painfully. The cracking sounds grew louder. His mind was still cracking. Fang Ping? Seeing Fang Ping stumble, and almost having his head smashed by a rank 9 corpse puppet, Li Daong killed a few corpse puppets with one slash of his sword. He charged forward quickly and roared, "Retreat!" Even Fang Ping could not take it anymore. Even Fang Ping, who was known for his invincible recovery ability, could not hold on any longer. At this moment, it was truly hopeless. Li Daong looked at those injured experts, looked at Wu Chuan, and the others, looked at Li Hansong, and felt an indescribable pain. What a fool! Idiot! Why did he still rush in at this time? Seeking death? Was another human prodigy going to die today? He was still thinking about this when Di House suddenly moved. Without a sound, 2 blood-armored warriors and 1 golden-armored warrior left with an emperor-level corpse puppet. For great experts, Gu Qing's face was ashen as he glanced at Di Hao. He seemed to know something. Divine artifact. When the arrow pierced through the seal, he vaguely felt something. The person who shot that arrow was not strong. At the very least, it wasn't too strong for him. At most, it was the strength of a level 5 origin source expert. Such a martial artist, in the eyes of others, was a powerhouse, but in his eyes, he was confident that he could kill him in 30 seconds. But with such strength, he was able to break through the seal. Even if the seal wasn't as strong as before, it wasn't something a level 5 origin source cultivator could achieve. The moment Li Changxing's life sword erupted, its explosive force was probably close to 400,000 calories of vitality. It was the highest level of rank 9 combat strength, even beginning to touch the true god barrier. Even so, it was only a small crack. The arrow shot by the other party had disappeared. That must be a divine weapon. It wasn't just arrows. If there were arrows, there would also be bows. Bows might also be divine artifacts. 2 divine artifacts, or a set of divine artifacts. At this moment, Gu Qing thought of some records in the ancient history books. God of War Bao, the divine artifact of the ancient powerhouses, deterred the 3 realms and shocked the emperor with its arrow. Just this one sentence. The first part was fine, but the last part, shocked the emperor with its arrow, was most likely not an exaggeration. If the emperor did not die, this sentence would be treason. The history books were written before the heavenly realm was destroyed. This meant that this was true. God of War Bao. Gu Qing made a judgment in his heart. As for whether that arrow was a set arrow for God of War Bao or another divine artifact, there was no way of knowing. The history books also did not record that God of War Bao had a set arrow. Divine artifact. Gu Qing's emotions fluctuated. There were actually a few divine artifacts today. The god-slaying saber fell into Ling Zhao's hands, but God of War Bao appeared again. God of War Bao. The next moment, Gu Qing suddenly looked at Li Hansong in the crowd. At this moment, Li Hansong's divine armor had already dissipated. However, Gu Qing's eyes moved slightly. Was this person's armor a divine artifact? His and Di Hao's combined attack actually could not kill a rank 8 martial artist. Unbelievable. When the 2 of them joined forces, forget about a rank 8, even a normal rank 3 or rank 4 origin martial artist would also be killed in one hit. Gu Qing did not speak, but he quickly transmitted his voice to a few boundless mountain disciples. Go, bring that person who just broke in. Don't kill him. Just leave him with one breath. Divine artifacts would also disappear with the death of their masters. However, divine artifacts were not ordinary. Even if they disappeared, they would often appear again. It was very difficult to completely disappear from this world. Gu Qing felt that it was necessary to capture this person alive. Perhaps he could really obtain a divine artifact. His mentality was strong, but his defense was average. This was also his biggest weakness. If he had a strong set of armor, he had absolute confidence that he would be invincible in the same rank. The experts of Boundless Mountain did not bat an eyelid when they heard that, and quickly joined the battle circle. Di Hao glanced at Gu Qing, also did not speak. Everyone had a tacit understanding. The one outside belonged to him. The one inside was much more difficult. If Gu Qing wanted it, then let Gu Qing try it. Seeing the situation, Gu Qing thought for a while and said, "They are already an arrow at the end of its flight. However, if this drags on, I am also worried that something will happen. General D, let the Emperor corpses attack." The Emperor corpses had true top-notch rank, 9 combat strength. Up until now, none of the 10 Emperor corpses were broken. Other than the one that just left, there were still 9, including the 4 golden armors that survived. One left, there were still 3. These 12 attacking, plus a large number of corpse puppets, was enough to kill Fang Ping and the others. Among these people, the current top-notch powerhouses were only Kong Lingyuan, Su Yunfei, Jiang Kuei, Yu Wuhua, Li Wuqi, and a few others. These so-called top-notch powerhouses were all powerhouses in the top 30 of the Fengyun list. The others were either dead or crippled, including Wang Hanyue, Xian Hua, and the others. They were also seriously injured and had no choice but to withdraw from the front line and retreat to recuperate. Di Hao saw that he spoke and said slowly, "All right, however, on your side, you also have to send some people." "All right," Gu Qing agreed readily and shouted, "Mount Amei, Mount Huatong, Mount Luofu, Supreme Emperor Heaven, Crimson Brightness, each side will send 3 people to battle." As his voice fell, some powerhouses from the Grand Master and the Land of Boundaries looked at each other. Although they were somewhat unwilling, they now had the absolute advantage. Very soon, all sides sent people to join the battle. Gu Qing said again, "Halt, Master Qi, you also need to send some people. Let's join forces and attack them. Now is not the time to be calculative about gains and losses." Qi Huanyu snorted softly and continued to recuperate. However, he still said slowly, "Go, send 30 people." On the catacombs side, 30 powerhouses also walked out very quickly. Seeing that, Di Hao did not say anything more. 9 Emperor corpses quickly attacked. This way, there were suddenly close to 100 more powerhouses. This time, the situation was completely critical. Kong Lingyuan's folding fan had been completely shattered. At this moment, this powerhouse who ranked 3rd on the Fengyun list had a bitter smile on his face. Previously, he was seriously injured and unconscious. This time, he was probably going to die. "For the past 20 years, I've either been unconscious or recuperating. That's right, I'm tired. It's time to rest. Everyone knows that I can only defend and can't attack. Today, I'll let all of you know that I can attack and defend as well." Kong Lingyuan's heart was filled with hatred. The next moment, he let out a roar, and the sky-high giant palm broke through the air. In the blink of an eye, a palm that was as fair as jade turned incomparably scarlet. This time, it was not targeted at the corpse puppets, but directly at the few powerhouses who had just joined the catacombs side. Explode! The palm directly caught 3 rank 9s in its hand. Then, the blood-red palm exploded with a loud bang. Ah! Screams were heard instantly. The 3 rank 9s who had just joined were directly killed by Kong Lingyuan on the spot. Meanwhile, one of Kong Lingyuan's arms also disappeared into thin air, unable to be recovered. His face was pale, and he opened his mouth and said with a smile, "How's my blood saber palm?" Beside him, someone sneered and said, "Isn't this a self-destruct palm? When did it change its name?" "You talk too much." Kong Lingyuan scolded jokingly, talking and laughing. Looking at Qi Huanyu in the distance, he laughed and said, Come, I'll crush you to death. I'll let you know that you're so-called number 1 among the rank 9 is just a fart. Qi Huanyu looked at him coldly and said flatly, "Whether I'm number 1 or not, it's not up to you, Kong Lingyuan. After this, there will be no resurrected martial artists on the ranking list." Having said that, he suddenly looked at Fang Ping, frowned slightly, and bellowed, "Everyone kill Fang Ping!" At this time, Fang Ping was pulled behind Li Daong. However, his expression kept changing, and his aura was sometimes strong and sometimes weak. This made Qi Huanyu feel that something was not right. At this moment, a faint cracking sound was heard. Before everyone could react, someone whispered in their ears, "There are no humans on the ranking list? What do you mean by that?" Uft, a blood armor warrior, was slashed and exploded almost instantly. An old man, wielding a broadsword, tore a crack, and the crack healed in the blink of an eye. However, the blood armor warrior beside the crack was already killed. "Qi Huanyu, have you forgotten someone?" The old man dragged his broadsword forward, slashing down with a thunderous strike. Uft, not far away, another blood armor warrior was slashed in half. In the next moment, 3 powerhouses rushed over, already surrounding the newcomer. The old man was calm and did not attack anymore. He looked at the 3 of them and quickly turned to Di Hao, saying mildly, "My name is Zhao Xingwu. You know me?" Di Hao glanced at him and said slowly, "Sky Plant Royal Court's Left Marshal." "No, Sino Nation's sex leader." Zhao Xingwu said mildly, "Left Marshal is just a bonus. When I entered the catacombs, I said that Zhao Xingwu, only had a disagreement with Zhang Tao's ideals. I did not betray humanity. I am a human, and also a human martial artist in your eyes, a resurrected martial artist." "Did you insist on coming to die? What a pity." Di Hao sighed softly. A powerhouse like this gave him the feeling that he was a true god, yet not a true god at the same time. It was very mysterious. He did not understand why this person did not become a true god. It was not that he could not, but that he did not want to. "I didn't want to come at first. This time, I have other things to do. Unfortunately, I had to come." Zhao Xingwu looked at the group of frenzied comrades and suddenly sighed softly. "I told you long ago, you guys can't do it. Why must you be so stubborn? Are you the number 1 person below the top of humanity? It's me." As soon as the word "me" left his mouth, a sky-piercing Changdao swept in all directions. The 3 powerhouses attacked one after another. However, in the blink of an eye, Qi Huanyu flew backward, Di Hao retreated, and Gu Qing's face turned pale. "All of you are injured. What a pity." Zhao Xingwu sighed. "It seems that today I can only win with an unfair advantage." As soon as he finished speaking, the old man attacked again. The saber broke through the void. A blood-colored spear let out an explosive rumble, piercing through space and piercing through the catacombs side. In the blink of an eye, a rank 9 who had retreated far away pierced through his golden body. "Qi Huanyu, your injury is not light." The old man was as fast as lightning, appearing next to Qi Huanyu in the blink of an eye. This slash was clearly just one slash, but it felt like thousands of slashes. The sound of banging was endless. Uft! Qi Huanyu flew backward again, fresh blood spilling from his mouth continuously. Hundreds of bloody wounds appeared on his body. Very strong. Di Hao appeared in an instant, smiling. "You surprised me. You're no worse than Hall Leader Qi. Before he was injured, I thought Hall Leader Qi had already reached the limit of the origin realm. Now I know that there are monsters in the world too." Zhao Xingwu was approaching the limit of 400,000. This was another monstrous genius. Under normal circumstances, a vitality limit of 300,000 meant that he had stepped into the peak. At 350,000, It was almost impossible to advance further. Qi Huanyu had reached 400,000. Zhao Xingwu was also about to reach this point. The ranking list is still somewhat real. Di Hao sighed. Qi Huanyu was ranked first. Zhao Xingwu was second. Kong Lingyuan was third. Li Changsheng was fourth. Even he had to admit that these top-notch Origin Realm powerhouses were really strong. If he had not fallen from the true God state and had only fallen from the Origin Realm, he would not be comparable to them. At the very least, he had not reached this step when he was in this realm back then. But you still have to die. As soon as he said that, 3 golden-armored powerhouses rushed over. 7 or 8 powerhouses from the ranking list from the other 2 sides also rushed over. There were close to 15 top-notch powerhouses, including Gu Qing, Di Hao, and Qi Huanyu. Could Zhao Xingwu be defeated? Even if he was a true god, they would dare to fight him now. What a pity! I failed at the last moment. Zhao Xingwu suddenly sighed. He had failed. This old man had no choice but to break through. The next moment, Zhao Xingwu took a step forward. With this step, the wind and clouds changed, and heaven and earth began to change color. In the sky, even with the sealing array, the Chaos Origin Path was restless at this moment. Someone had broken through, entering true God. If there was no sealing array, the Chaos Origin would descend in a moment and disrupt the Origin. Zhao Xingwu would be crippled even if he did not die. He had entered true God in one step. However, the next moment, he suddenly frowned. Di Hao did not seem to be in a hurry. He said with a faint smile, entering true God in the cemetery of gods. Zhao Xingwu, you are too shallow. The great Tao here has collapsed. You can't enter. You have the realm of a true god, but you don't have the corresponding combat power. Without a qualitative change, it's useless. In other words, even if Zhao Xingwu stepped into true God, at this moment, the difference between 0, 99 times, and 1 times was pitifully small. There was no qualitative change in vitality because the great Tao was blocked here. Di Hao said with a faint smile, if I could enter true God here, I wouldn't have fallen and haven't recovered until now. I could barely recover some combat power, but I'm far from being as strong as before. Otherwise, I would have killed all these people long ago. Do you think I would have waited until you came? Di Hao sighed. Zhao Xingwu was thinking too much. Did he think that he could turn the situation around just because he entered true God? Zhao Xingwu also laughed at himself. So that was it. No wonder he did not feel much change just now. It was as if he had just taken a step and increased a little. He thought that something had happened. He did not expect that it was because the great Tao was blocked. However, you can be considered lucky that you advanced here. The heaven-sealing great formation helped you hide most of your aura. You have just entered the true divinity Tao and didn't cause too much of a disturbance. That is why you didn't die. Zhao Xingwu also said calmly, you are an idiot, but I am not. If it weren't for this, I wouldn't have advanced. What nonsense are you spouting? As the word nonsense left his mouth, the Changdao exploded. Rumble, a top rank, 9 was seriously injured. Even if I am not a paragon, I can still kill the enemy. The old man's voice was like a great bell. He instantly attacked the powerhouses. No saber. His body was full of sabers. Neo-martial artist powerhouses were invincible in close combat. More than 10 top powerhouses also roared continuously. In the blink of an eye, they were fighting each other. The other powerhouses could only retreat at this moment. They could not intervene in the battle between these top powerhouses. They could not even surround and attack, lest they accidentally hurt their own people. However, with more than 10 powerhouses on the wind cloud ranking and a few top powerhouses here, killing Zhao Xingwu was just a matter of time. On the periphery, Zhao Xingwu was fighting while bathed in blood. Soon, he let out a muffled groan. His chest was pierced by a spear. At the same time, Zhao Xingwu also chopped off the head of a golden armor with his palm blade. On the inner periphery, the top powerhouses like Kong Lingyuan had already reached their limits. Almost 100 powerhouses joined in. Even if they were fighting 2 against 3, they could not hold on at this time. Someone died again. Blood permeated the entire battlefield. Zhao Xingwu's participation did not reduce their pressure. However, Zhao Xingwu's arrival had restrained these top powerhouses, giving them a glimmer of hope. Perhaps there were reinforcements. With that last trace of desire, these people were all bathed in blood and killing. Behind them, some powerhouses who had recovered a little from their injuries also rushed out recklessly. Li Changsheng, who had half of his body exploded, was struggling at this moment, dragging his broken body. He wielded his sword and rushed out again. Even if he had to die, he wanted to kill a few more. Bang! The sound of explosions was endless. One powerhouse after another fell. One powerhouse after another did not even have their bones left. Some belonged to the enemy, and some belonged to their own people. The grinder lived up to its name. Casualties and more casualties. The team of 300 people gradually became smaller. At this moment, Fang Ping's expression changed. The cracking sound did not stop at all. Fang Ping felt it. The outermost fragment of his brain was falling off. This doesn't seem to be exploding. Is it metamorphosis? What did Ironhead feed me? Fang Ping was in disbelief. Metamorphosis? He had such an experience. Could it be that he was going to complete the metamorphosis of 10,000 hertz? Previously, his mentality was 9,699 hertz, not far from 10,000 hertz. It was almost the limit of rank 9. However, it was difficult for him to increase it again. Could it be that that thing just now could help him complete the final upgrade? Previously, when he self-destructed the Golden House many times, his brain was also cracking, but the feeling was different. Fang Ping closed his eyes. At this moment, he had no choice but to close his eyes. He seemed to be looking at his own brain. The outermost layer of the crystal-clear brain was falling off like broken glass. However, Fang Ping also saw a horrifying scene. On the inside, there were also cracks. They were caused by self-destruction. The outer fragments fell off, but the cracks on the inner layer did not heal. This means that my injuries have not healed yet. Instead, they have spread to a deeper layer. Fang Ping frowned. This was a little troublesome. Of course, at this moment, he could not care so much. The outer fragments fell off, and the cracks on the inside seemed to have healed a little. Then, the brain kept spinning. The speed was so fast that it was dazzling. Every time it spun, the brain grew a little bigger. Fang Ping felt like his head was about to explode. Very soon, Fang Ping felt something different. After he was seriously injured, his mentality could no longer recover, but now it started to recover on its own. 1,000 hertz, 2,000 hertz, 3,000 hertz. The speed was frighteningly fast. Fang Ping quickly shielded his aura. He had already sensed something different. In the distance, Gu Qing seemed to have sensed something too. He, who was fighting, suddenly turned his head to look at Fang Ping, frowning slightly. Gu Qing was also in existence with a high mentality, looking at the lifeless Fang Ping on the ground. Gu Qing was a little dazed. Did I sense it wrong? Fang Ping was dead. It couldn't be. No, he's not dead. He can conceal his aura. Is he playing dead? Playing dead at this time? Gu Qing was a little dazed. At this time, was it really necessary for the leader of the human world to play dead? Gu Qing was not the only one who was stunned. Many of the powerhouses on their side, who were fighting the enemy outside, were also stunned. Fang Ping did not care. He opened his eyes, waved his hand, and said, "I'm tired. I'm going to sleep for a while. You guys continue killing." Phew! Seeing that he was not dead, many people breathed a sigh of relief. Wu Quishan, who was equally weak, was lying not far away, cursing in a low voice. "Play dead my ass." They were almost scared to death. This bastard did not deceive Gu Qing and the others. They were almost scared to death. They thought that the kid was really going to die. "Vice-Chancellor, don't curse." It was not Fang Ping who said this. Iron Head raised his skeletal skull and looked at Wu Quishan. He seemed to be smiling, the smile of a skeleton. Wu Quishan was weak. The magic martial sword was not that useful. Right now, his injuries were too serious. Otherwise, he would definitely teach this guy who smiled at him with a skull. Did he not know how ugly it was? Or do you think that your skull looks better than the others? Crack, crack. A weak cracking sound was heard again. Fang Ping's skull cracked. Then he smiled in all directions, forcibly straightening his head that had almost fallen off. "My head is loose." Crack! Another crisp sound. The flesh on Fang Ping's face exploded. Fang Ping recovered quickly and smiled. "I have a unique cultivation method to recover from injuries. Let's fight for another 300 rounds later." Bang! His head exploded immediately. Fang Ping's head recovered quickly. His face was pale. "Stop looking. It's a self-mutilating technique. The more you hurt yourself, the faster you recover." A group of injured people looked at each other. After a while, Li Daong, who had flown back, cursed, "Motherf asterisk cur. If you do it again, I'll kill you. I was almost killed because of you." He had been paying attention to Fang Ping. He was a little distracted by him, and was almost beaten to death by an emperor corpse. Fang Ping was powerless. "Did I do it on purpose? You're still the deputy commander-in-chief. You don't even put in effort in a life-and-death battle. What are you doing?" Fang Ping ignored him. At this moment, he did not have the energy to pay attention to anyone. Accompanied by the continuous cracking sound, Fang Ping's eyes became brighter and brighter, brighter and brighter. His previously dim eyes had not only recovered their previous brightness, but they were also more spirited. Turning his head, he looked at Iron Head, who only had a skull left. Fang Ping grinned and said silently, "Thank you." The skull bared its teeth and smiled brightly. Even if it was not bright at this moment, Fang Ping could still feel the joy. It was done. Chapter 9, 57. Wealth, 300 million points vitality, 115,400 calories, 185,200 calories, mentality, 9,299 hertz, 10,000 hertz, a separable consciousness, destructive force, 78 yuan, storage space, 10,000 cubic meters plus, energy shield, 1 point/minute plus, aura simulation, 10 points/minute plus, origin detailed analysis, 10-100 million points/time. Fang Ping laughed. His laughter was silent. Mentality, his physique's vitality limit increased by close to 20,000 calories in an instant. He did not care about the ability of cloning. What he cared about was the strength of his mentality. Corpse puppet. This was what he cared about the most. Not only that, Wanhe's mentality seemed to have completed the last step. Fang Ping had always felt that his golden body was incomplete. At this moment, scabs kept falling off the surface of his golden body. Crack, crack, waves of squeezing sounds were heard. Drip, drip, drops of scarlet blood dripped from Fang Ping's body. A real ninth-forged golden body. He could feel it. He could feel the qualitative change in his vitality. Before this, his vitality quality was only 1, 8 times that of a normal rank, 9. At this moment, it was changing toward 2 times. The dripping sounds were endless. The blood dripped onto the ground, corroding holes as if it was highly toxic. Was he reborn? Fong Ping did not know. He only knew that his bones were heavier and his flesh was more compact, so compact that it seemed invulnerable. Zhao Xingwu's saber, Qi Huanyu's spear. At this moment, Gu Qing looked at Fong Ping again. His expression suddenly changed. Fong Ping's gaze was frighteningly bright. He had seen it before. Not only had he seen it before, but he had also gone through this stage. At this moment, looking into Fong Ping's eyes was like looking into a deep world. It was dazzling and dizzying. In Fong Ping's eyes, he saw himself and everyone else as if there was no blind spot. Everything was in his eyes. This was a 9th forged spiritual consciousness. Gu Qing was slightly dazed. Then he suddenly felt a little terrified and roared, "Everyone attack! Kill Fong Ping!" This roar stunned everyone present. What he said next, however, was shocking. "Quick! Fong Ping is double 9th forged. Don't let him enter the origin path. Quick, kill him!" Double 9th refinement. At this moment, Di Hao's expression changed drastically, and he roared, "Qi Huanyu, attack! Quick, everyone attack! Kill Fong Ping!" Some people were still in a daze, and some people didn't even understand the meaning of the 9th refinement. But there were people who understood. 9th refinement of spiritual sense and 9th refinement of physical body. At the 8th refinement stage, perhaps it wasn't too powerful. At the very least, it might not be comparable to some invincible powerhouses. But once he reached the 9th grade, he would step into the origin. They found it hard to imagine just how powerful such an expert was, because they had never seen one before. But they knew one person, double 8th refinement demon overlord. The moment the demon emperor stepped into rank 9, his origin reached 500 meters in a day. In one day, his basic vitality increased by 2,000 calories, 200,000 calories. That was Qi Huanyu's current limit. He hadn't even reached that point yet. As for the demon emperor, he had only walked 500 meters. It was hard for them to imagine what would happen to Fong Ping, who had achieved double 9th refinement. How strong would the blood qi of a 9th refinement golden body be? The strength that Fong Ping had displayed earlier, in their opinion, was at least 300,000 and above. They were still unaware of the qualitative change in qi and blood. They only knew that Fong Ping's 300,000 calories vitality might be even more powerful now. Once he stepped into the origin and walked 500 meters, his vitality would increase by 0, 5 times. In addition to the qualitative change in rank 9, the upper limit of the vitality that he could walk out of the origin would increase. With a simple calculation, everyone was terrified. If Fong Ping walked 500 meters, he might have 400,000 calories basic vitality. The 0, 5 times increase would eventually reach 600,000 calories vitality. As for the weak absolute peak, it would only be equivalent to 800,000 calories. Fong Ping could really be used as half an absolute peak. He might kill Qi Huanyu in 3 to 5 moves. Killing Qi Huanyu might also take that long. Whether it was 800,000 or 600,000, it would be a crushing defeat for Qi Huanyu. This was different from the combat tactics that were also strong. They had a time limit, and they would hurt the enemy as well. At that time, Fong Ping would not have any time limit. He was just that strong. Kill him. We can't let him step into the origin. Divine Court Army, release the seal and kill him together. Everyone roared. Release the seal. They would rather release the seal and let some people escape. Once the seal was released, it would be more difficult for Fang Ping to step into the origin. Because of the chaos origin, it would be very difficult for him to enter here. Bang! With an explosion, the blood-colored spears in the sky flew back one after another. Dihao roared, "Fuse!" The blood armor warriors raised their spears again. The spears instantly fused into Dihao's blood-colored spears. Buzz! The void trembled. The chaos origin was agitated. At this moment, just like before, Dihao had once again used a joint attack. However, compared to before, his aura was much weaker. Some of the blood armor warriors were killed. One of the golden armor warriors was also killed, and one left. In addition, the blood armor warriors had expended a lot of energy. At this moment, Dihao no longer had the combat strength of a true god. He was also heavily injured, but he had already surpassed Qi Huanyu at his peak. Qi Huanyu's expression also changed for a while. He did not expect Dihao to take this seriously. He actually fused the blood armor warriors and went all out. It was not just him. Gu Qing's avatar appeared instantly. Ignoring everyone else, it charged straight at Fang Ping. The real body, on the other hand, roared, "What are you waiting for? Kill him. Once you step into the origin, you will die." One was powerful for a short period of time. The other was powerful for a long time. The key was that the 8th stage Demon Emperor had walked 500 meters. What about Fang Ping? Fang Ping had 2 nines. Was it possible for him to walk further? He did not dare to take the risk. No one dared to take the risk. The most important thing was that Fang Ping's origin Dao was not strong. Perhaps it would not trigger the Chaos Origins attack. When that time came, he would be the loophole here. Even the true gods would not be his match, because the true gods did not dare to erupt, but he did. The more Gu Qing thought about it, the more terrified he became. Even if the true gods were here, they might not be Fang Ping's match when he stepped into the origin. The only way was to kill him and not give him this chance. Dihao charged toward Fang Ping. Gu Qing charged toward Fang Ping. Those powerhouses charged toward Fang Ping one after another. At this moment, Fang Ping, who had just stood up, looked helpless. He sighed. "I'm too outstanding. As soon as I woke up, all of you came." "Really?" Having said that, Fang Ping grinned. He was very powerful, especially Dihao. He was really King powerful. This was comparable to a powerhouse with a vitality force of 500,000 calories, right? How terrifying! How troublesome! Fang Ping sighed. His aura changed soundlessly. 9 emperor corpses, hundreds of true god corpse puppets, and thousands of rank 8 and 9 corpse puppets. At this moment, they seemed to be trembling slightly. Dihao and the others did not think of this for a while, but at this moment, a sharp scream came from afar. "Watch out!" The person controlling the corpses outside could feel it instantly when the control was taken away. Not only that, Fang Ping directly destroyed the mentality controlling them and replaced it with his own. This "watch out" made Dihao stunned. The next moment, Dihao's expression changed wildly. It was too late. Around the 9 emperor corpses, there were some powerhouses surrounding them. Just as they wanted to kill Fang Ping, the 9 emperor corpses suddenly attacked. Rumble! 9 explosions sounded. The 9 powerhouses were blown up in the blink of an eye when they were caught off guard. And this was just the beginning. What were those true god corpse puppets doing? There was not a moment when Dihao regretted it more than now. The corpse puppets were protecting those blood armors. Right now, they were protecting those blood armors that were using their joint combat techniques. Most of their strength had been integrated into the spears. This was their weakest moment. However, with Fang Ping's tens of thousands of mentality, even if he did not rely on the imperishable matter, the materialized object was still extremely powerful. Gu Qing's avatar was cracked by Fang Ping's saber earlier. Right now, it was directly enveloped into the crystal house. Gu Qing's expression changed. He felt that the other half of his mentality was absorbed into Fang Ping's materialized object. Damn it! Dihao, kill him! Gu Qing roared furiously. What was Dihao doing? Although most of the Crimson Armors were dead, many of them had integrated the last of their strength into Crimson Spear. Right now, Dihao was even more powerful. Was he not going to kill Fang Ping? Just as he roared furiously, an extremely swift and fierce saber gleam flashed past behind him. Dihao had left. Gu Qing was distracted. Had he forgotten about this old man? Zhao Xingwu slashed with his saber. Vitality rushed to the sky. The void's chaotic origin surged, rumbling and exploding. The seal was gone. A large number of powerhouses had gathered here. At this moment, it had already made the chaotic origin restless. Fang Ping shouted, "Take the wounded and leave. I'm going to destroy them today." After saying that, Fang Ping roared wildly. His mentality, long saber, slashed directly into the crystal house. Damn it! Gu Qing roared furiously. His avatar and real body had encountered the greatest crisis. Looking at Fang Ping and sensing the crisis behind him, Gu Qing's eyes flashed sharply. He could only abandon the pawn to save the chariot. Thousands of years of hard work had turned into nothing. Dual true gods. This was his dream. His avatar and real body had advanced to true god together. If they were integrated, he might become the top of the true gods in a day. This was what he had been pursuing for countless years. He might become Boundless Mountain's second emperor level. There was a lot of hope. Many people knew about his ambition. Many people did not think highly of him. But Gu Qing himself knew that he had hope. His avatar and himself, after being severed, had cultivated to this day and possessed nearly 10,000 hertz strength. With a little more time, he could advance. Both of them advanced, become the strongest among the true gods. But at this moment, it had turned into nothing. Fang Ping, an extremely resentful roar, was heard. Gu Qing roared fiercely. His figure moved, scurrying 1,000 meters away in the blink of an eye. At the same time, his avatar in the crystal house let out a blood-curdling scream. Crack! The avatar cracked. Fang Ping was in for a penny, in for a pound. With a roar, he stepped into the crystal house. Disregarding everything, he slashed 1,000 times in a row. Fast! So fast that it was impossible to tell how many slashes he had slashed. When Fang Ping retracted his saber, Gu Qing's avatar had already turned into nothing. Puff! In the distance, Gu Qing's head exploded. He recovered quickly, but his eyes were dull. He looked at Fang Ping and Zhao Xingwu with resentment. They had destroyed his thousands of years of hard work. At this moment, Dihao stopped crying. He tore through the void and appeared in front of Fang Ping in the blink of an eye. At the same time, 9 emperor corpses blocked his way. Fang Ping did not look at him. He looked at the others and laughed. Dihao, you can play with these old opponents. I want to kill. He was not interested in fighting with Dihao. This fellow was terrifyingly powerful now. He was probably not a match for him. Moreover, it would be a waste of time. Once the seal was broken, no one could stop him from running away. He wanted to kill. Old Zhao, kill Qi Huanyu. As for the others, I'll do it. Fang Ping let out a low roar. The true god corpse puppets, who had just killed all of Blood Armor's, charged toward the catacombs and Grandmaster's people. The situation had been reversed. Fong Ping had not stepped into origin yet, but the situation had been reversed. Most importantly, blood armors had been killed, and the corpse puppets had turned traitor. Now, they had lost the combat strength of more than 200 rank 9 powerhouses. They had lost more than 200 rank 9 powerhouses, but Fong Ping's side had gained 1 to 200 rank 9 powerhouses. With this reversal, the difference in combat strength of close to 400 rank 9 powerhouses was now. Such a sudden change changed everything. 9 Emperor corpses were entangled with Di Hao. In the blink of an eye, an Emperor corpse was blown up directly. Fong Ping, however, burst into laughter. So what if I give it to you? How long can you maintain this combat strength? Di Hao, I'll come and kill you later. After saying that, Fong Ping dashed into the True God Corpse Puppets camp, his mentality sweeping in all directions. Shielded mentality, soundless. At this moment, many people finally realized the seriousness of the problem. Fong Ping seemed to be familiarizing himself with his new fighting style. Very soon, he discovered the characteristics of his new fighting style. Mentality was soundless to begin with. At this moment, shielding his aura, he could completely target a rank 9 secretly. With his 10,000 hertz mentality, intimidating a rank 9 was a piece of cake. The corpse puppets were under his control. They would hit wherever he pointed. These rank 9s could not even discover who Fong Ping was targeting. Fong Ping burst into laughter. At the same time, his mentality erupted secretly, intimidating a rank 9. A few corpse puppets attacked simultaneously, intimidated by Fong Ping, almost unable to resist. Such a powerhouse was destined to be killed. Rumble! His flesh was blown up. Kill! Everyone, surround and kill Fong Ping. If he doesn't die, we can't live. Someone saw it and roared one after another. Qi Huanyu let out a furious roar too. His aura increased abruptly, fighting wildly with Xiao Xingwu. A few top-rank 9s around him erupted one after another. The situation had changed. If they did not fight to the death, they would be in big trouble today. Fong Ping's roars were heard. Rank 9s were intimidated by him one by one, blown up by the corpse puppets. These rank 9s were not weaklings either. One by one, the corpse puppets were blown up. Blood raged like a river. The ground was covered in thick flesh and blood when stepped on. Kong, Lingyuan, and the rest, under the protection of some powerhouses who still had combat strength, began to evacuate. Outside, a large number of corpse puppets were protecting them. Kong Lingyuan looked at the powerhouses fighting with Fong Ping and roared, "Those who can still fight, kill with me! Kill all these sons of Astor's cheese today." This big water buffalo, Li Wuji, had its flesh and blood dissipated, but it was still roaring madly. "Kill! 33 islands, powerhouses, kill with me! I want revenge!" Dozens of powerhouses rushed out of the camp instantly. Those corpse puppets continued to protect the injured as they evacuated. Rumble! Explosions were heard one after another. Among them, Fong Ping and Di Hao were the most conspicuous. Di Hao's strength was shocking. 9 emperor corpses were almost impossible to destroy. However, in an instant, Di Hao had blown up 3 corpses. He kept breaking out of the encirclement, wanting to rush to Fong Ping and kill him. However, the remaining 6 emperor corpses did not care at all, clinging to him relentlessly. Di Hao let out an inhuman roar. He was not resigned to this. He was too strong, so strong that, in a moment, the Chaos Origin would attack him. Moreover, these powers were dissipating rapidly as their masters died. His combat strength could not last long. Fong Ping, Fong Ping! Dihao screamed shrilly. His divine court army, his comrade! Below, Fong Ping also laughed harshly. You killed my comrades. How would you know that I hate you even more? Dihao, God doesn't want me to die. No, my comrades, my brothers don't want me to die. They let me come to take revenge. Kill! Fong Ping roared, intimidating another person. The corpse puppet attacked again, blowing up the other party. Retreat! Qi Huanyu roared. In the distance, Gu Qing also roared angrily. Retreat! Dihao, you bastard! Why did you cripple the corpse puppet? Fong Ping's side was now stronger than the corpse puppet. As long as the corpse puppet was crippled, even if Fong Ping had the strength of a ninth refinement, he would not have any overwhelming advantage. Dihao seemed to have just woken up from the annihilation of the divine court army. He roared. The corpse puppet was refined by the second king. Someone, report to the second king, and destroy the corpse puppet. If they wanted to destroy the corpse puppet, they could only let the second king do it. One of the 4 golden-armored powerhouses went to kill Wang Jinyang, and the rest. Right now, they were fighting with the emperor-level corpse puppet. Of the remaining 3, Zhao Xingwu had just killed 1, leaving 2. When the 2 heard that, one of them did not say anything and rushed straight into the depths to find the second king. If they went back, the corpse puppet would be destroyed very soon. When that happened, the situation would change again. Fong Ping was stunned when he saw that. It could be destroyed. Damn it! Kill! Fong Ping also roared. He had to seize this opportunity to kill a large number of powerhouses. If there were too many people left later, the situation would change again, and they would be at a disadvantage again. The people on both sides were going crazy. It was not that easy for Qi Huanyu and Gu Qing to retreat. Some people could not retreat. Some people wanted to retreat, but they also knew that if they retreated, the remaining people would definitely be surrounded and killed. Were they in a dilemma? At this moment, Qi Huanyu shouted again, "One person leaves, one person leaves. Kill the rest after the corpse puppet is destroyed." If they did not leave now, those who died would have died in vain. This was because Fong Ping did not care about the loss of the corpse puppets. Among the hundreds of true god corpse puppets, a few dozen had been destroyed. Having said that, Qi Huanyu shouted again, "The rest of you go and kill the injured. Force Fong Ping to help." Yes, some people leaped into the air and chased after Wu Chuan, and the rest who were retreating. Fong Ping was anxious too. His mentality erupted without a care for his life. He could not let them retreat. At this moment, a strange scene appeared on the entire battlefield. At the forefront, Wu Chuan and the rest were retreating. In the middle, a portion of the catacombs powerhouses and grandmasters were chasing. Behind them, Yu Wuhua and the rest were besieging the remaining catacombs powerhouses and grandmasters. As for Fong Ping, he led a large number of corpse puppets and charged toward the front, killing. Behind him, Qi Huanyu and Zhao Xingwu were fighting. Dihao was fighting with the emperor corpse. At the very back, an emperor's corpse and Lao Wang were fighting against a golden-armored and 2 blood-armored beings. Powerhouses' corpses fell one after another. The corpse puppets were destroyed, mixed with the corpses of humans and overseas immortal island powerhouses. Killing was the main theme at this moment. In the outside world, everyone was silent. More than 1,500 people's names were extinguished, 800 people, 700 people, 600 people. Rank 8 and 9 powerhouses died in an instant at this time. There were 500 rank 9s and hundreds of rank 8s in the catacombs. There were more than 600 people. Previously, there were only more than 200 left. At this moment, there were only about 100 left. It was the same for all parties. Heavy losses. so heavy that it chilled everyone's heart and made their hearts ache. Even these true king powerhouses were extremely surprised and astonished. What exactly happened inside? Too many people had died. A sea of deaths. On the peak, Zhang Tao laughed silently. It was good that they died. Humans, the number of deaths was decreasing, but for other parties, it was increasing continuously. Fang Ping, you didn't let me down. Before this, Zhang Tao had already made preparations to break through the king battleground at all costs to overcome this crisis. Now, it seemed like there was no need for that anymore. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.